You know, back when I was in the academy, we would follow every toast with a song. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Come cheer up my nights, come cheer up my nights. It's better to have loved and lost. It's better to have loved and lost. Captain Jean-Luc Picard than never to have loved at all. Federation Starship, come cheer up my nights, come cheer up my nights. It's better to have loved and lost. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, 17346732147 Charlie 3278977764 Tango 732 Victor 73117887732476789764376 Lock. When I have plucked the rose, she Earl Grey hot, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. In faith, I do not love thee. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? When I have plucked the rose, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. In faith, I do not love thee. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Come cheer up my nights, come cheer up my nights. Tis better to have loved and lost. Incredibly unbroken sentence, moving from topic to topic. No one had a chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic. Incredibly unbroken sentence, moving from topic to topic. No one had a chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic. That's an interesting twist.
And hello, everyone. Hello, Best Chat. Welcome to another episode of Delicious Morning Nonsense. I hope you're all ready for a nice smorgasbord of really peculiar nonsense this morning. It's really peculiar. Some of it really, it's really close to home as far as fandom goes. It's getting more and more ridiculous. You think they would lighten up on the stuff, but they just won't. It's trying to say, well, that didn't work. How about getting more ridiculous? Maybe getting more ridiculous would make it work. Let's see. Man in Hades. Welcome, Man in Hades. Mr. Devil, I could use some literal nonsense. Hope your day is going well so far. Oh, it is going well so far. I did made some good progress in the new video. Going fantastic. Thank you, Man in Hades. Appreciate that. Hello, Bancho. Good day, everybody. Says Bancho. A good day to you, Bancho. A good day, Zofrats. Hello, Zofrats. Welcome to the chat. Hello, Chekhov's Antlers. Hello, Chekhov's Antlers. Hello to the numbers. Hello, the numbers. Hello, Aura Master DX. Welcome. Hello, Dr. Crow. Hello, welcome, Dr. Crow. We got. I had that thing pulled up you just showed me yesterday, Dr. Crow. We might go over it. There's a really good chance if we can get to it. And that one servant Titania. Hello, that one servant Titania. Hello, and hello, Guy. Hello, Zayukia. Hello, everyone. Hello. Bedroom Bunny. Welcome, Bedroom Bunny. Alex Star H. Lobo. Hello, Alex Star H. Lobo. Hello, Harry S. Hello, Mark in 3D. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Best Chat. Welcome. The Best Chat begins to assemble. Hello, hello, hello. Nexus 906. Hello, Nexus 906. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see here. Let's see here. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Okay. But first of all, hello, Noble Commando. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Okay, so two guests already. Two guests have arrived already. So let me go ahead and introduce the loading crew. Hello, the loading crew.
Howdy. Am I coming through all right?
You sure are. I can hear you just fine. Loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Is it too loud?
No, I don't think so. It's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect from my end. And another guest.
This is where the fun begins.
Hello,
everyone.
Shiny. Did you smell some Star Wars? Well, this time it wasn't Star Wars. I think you might have smelled some Star Trek this time. You won't believe what they're going to do with Captain Kirk this time.
Oh well. Let's see what. Fuck it.
It's gonna be. I think you're gonna like it. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be more. They're gonna make Captain Kirk more diverse. They're going to make him more diverse and inclusive.
Sorry, what?
Hey, what the fuck does that mean?
The ominous foretelling. That's what that means.
What are you gonna do? Strap Kirk down to a chair and blackface him?
No.
Maybe change his sexuality.
Not quite. Oh wait. What'd you say?
Maybe change his sexuality.
We'll see. You might be right on that one. Who knows? Hello, Vault Kobold. Welcome, Vault Kobold. Morning, Sir Devil. Well, good morning, Vault Kobold. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you could join us, Best Chat. Hello, Best Chat. Hello. But before we get started, I think let's start off with something light, something hilarious. I think we can all get behind making fun of some pretentious, self-absorbed Hollywood celebrities. That's always a good thing. It's always light. It's kind of like ever played a video game where you shoot Nazis and how it's like you do horrible things to Nazis in those video games. You disintegrate them, you dismember them, you drop giant boulders on their heads, whatever it is. You blow up their bases, you toss them into propellers. But you don't have any guilt because, well, they're Nazis. The same thing goes, I think, kind of attaches to Hollywood celebrities in terms of mocking them. You can mock them however much you want and however brutally you want to, and there's no really any guilt associated with it because they're awful, awful people. So check it out. Anyone remember this nice "I take responsibility without taking responsibility" video? Somebody redid it for them to make it, truthful. So the honest trailer sort of thing. It's basically like an honest trailers version of celebrity "Feel Bad for Me" videos. I'm such a good person videos. It's kind of like the honest version of that. So let's check it out. Make sure everything's all up so everyone can hear it. And I am sharing the audio, so I'm not changing the world, so to speak. Let's check it out, chat.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility
I take responsibility
for being a white savior,
for attention-seeking
What?
behavior,
for performative activism,
for thinking that other people give a shit about my experience in a time like this,
for putting my hand on my heart to feign sincerity,
for waiting until the hard part is over and then posting an opportunistic video.
for not really knowing who this video is for. I think it's for me, I'm not sure.
I'm praying. I learned this move in acting school.
For the sad piano music and the black and white. It's such a cliche.
I take responsibility for not learning my lines. Probably should have done that if I really cared.
For enunciating strongly to show how angry I am. For my complete lack of self-awareness.
For thinking that a video on Twitter would fix racism.
But it did, though.
I am not reading this off a screen.
No more celebrity videos. Hashtag, it's not about you. See?
I'm still
Ironically,
relevant.
like everyone can kind of get behind that too. Like, even the wokes are like, yeah, fuck off. Like,
get out of here, celebrities. Okay, we have enough of you. See what I mean? We made fun of these celebrities. No guilt. I didn't feel guilty.
not even a little bit.
I didn't certainly feel guilty. See, I told you, like modern day celebrities, like weirdo celebrities who like to do this all the time. It's kind of like Nazis in a video game. You can do whatever you want. You can go all out making fun of these people, and you don't feel any guilt because it's kind of like free. They're kind of like either zombies or Nazis, same sort of category. No guilt associated with it, like stormtroopers in Star Wars. Let's see here. Let's see. Should we go right into the Captain Kirk stuff, or should we wait just a little bit more? Well, I think now Shiny's here. We can cover this part before we get into the Captain Kirk stuff. I think you might find this one enjoyable, relatively speaking. Dave,
Relatively.
Dave Filoni's speech at National Center for Women and Information Technology explains woke changes to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I told you.
Is he going to explain how he changed Nix Okami to the fucking annoying sisters?
Maybe. I told you they were woke changes. I told you because the shaved side of the head, that's woke. That's a woke. It's a woke character. That's a signal of wokeness. I told you. I knew it. Well, let's see. Let's see what they have to say.
Originally, this character was like there was a completely different storyline, but they changed some parts of the first episode. So the first episode, you still had Ahsoka beating up the bodyguards and the guy asking for his money. But there was a man named Nix Okami, and he was supposed to be well, what's inferred by Ashley Eckstein is that it was supposed to be some kind of love interest as well.
Well, I mean, it would have been a way better love interest than that one guy. That one pathetic guy who's useless.
Looks.
Yeah, that guy. He's useless. But they turned somehow, by some miracle, they made two characters to replace that other love interest with. Two sisters who are worse than that guy. I mean, these two sisters make Jar Jar Binks like Albert Einstein of the Star Wars universe. It's ridiculous.
It's funny how an arc about Jar Jar Binks and Mace Windu is so much more entertaining than these two.
Yeah,
I mean, I never thought
Jar Jar Binks has game and everything. I had no idea.
Yeah, he has a fucking girlfriend. It's like you knew.
And she's a
can
queen.
tell.
She's not just like some I don't know, barfly or whatever. She's not just some person like some random person off the street. She's a queen. Like Jar Jar Binks landed a queen. That's pretty impressive. And she's just in love with him. A queen. It's like a trend with all these main characters in Star Wars. They all land princesses and queens. I wonder if that's anything to do with like George Lucas' personal fetish. If it is, I don't care. That's a pretty cool one.
Is royalty?
Oh yeah, and he's force sensitive as well.
I mean, it's far better than Tarantino's foot fetish thing that he puts everywhere. I mean, royalty fetish, and that's something you can get behind.
But did you ever know that you wanted an arc about Mace Windu and Jar Jar Binks?
Well, half of that
until you watched it.
Half of that, yes. I did want an arc about Mace Windu. I did not know I wanted an arc about Jar Jar Binks. That was a shocker to me. Yeah. Put those two guys together. They're like a perfect pair. It's like a buddy cop movie.
There's so many great moments where Mace Windu is just like, what the fuck? I specifically like the moment where like Jar Jar Binks says, Mace Windu, my humble servant. And the camera is just staring there with Jar Jar Binks in the foreground and Mace Windu in the background, and Mace Windu's head just slowly turns around.
I wasn't so
like
peaceful,
he's about to kill him.
Man, if I wasn't so peaceful and in line with the Force, I would be murdering you right now. That's basically that's what the look Mace Windu gave. Yeah, Alex Star H Lobo. We should all play Wolfenstein LD. Yes, we should all play Wolfenstein. Any of them, slash all of them, especially the new ones. I really like the new ones. I mean, the new Colossus one got a little cringy. It got a little bit woke. It's a little bit woke. At least it looked like it was going that way, and then it didn't. It kind of stepped on that. But it's just a little bit woke. It's a little.
Is there a mod for Wolfenstein where you can replace the Nazis with celebrities?
Oh, I wish someone can shoot on that. That'd be really interesting. It's kind of like was it a South Park? No, not South Park, but Team America, where all the celebrities are bad guys. This is the Actors Guild got together to try to teamed up with literal communism, making me think that were they trying to tell us something? Hollywood is full of communists. Maybe, I don't know. I think that's kind of not really a secret. It's kind of like a well-known fact. That's why I guess there's no real guilt about making fun of them at all, no matter how far you go. And say, Dr. Crow, I am not reading this off the screen, and I did not read that off the screen either. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Crow. Let's see here. Ashley Ferguson, Jar Jar is a queen. Sometimes, maybe on the weekend. I see Neil. Is it wrong? I've written off Disney Star Wars. No, I've done so also. I just tossed that in the garbage because that's where it belongs. It and a lot of SJW writing I find is very bad YA. Yes, they don't know how to write anything more mature than YA. Anything outside of YA is, I mean, they think they're mature, But their idea of maturity is like edgy 13-year-old high school stuff. Their idea of maturity is Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. That's mature. Everything sucks, man. Everything's terrible and horrible, and I'm gonna go listen to my emo music and look at my posters. That's their level of maturity that's the highest level of maturity they can achieve. And if you actually have maturity in your work, like real stuff, they think it's childish. I don't know. It's really strange. Hence my love for anime and manga. It's better than most of the West's media. Yeah, and they don't bend to that stuff either. They've been trying, but the Japan is like, no. Japan retaliates with brutal mockery, and in a method only Japan can do. Let's see here. Okay, so Dave Filoni's speech at National Center for Women in Information Technology explains woke changes to Star Wars, the Clone Wars. So, let's see the secrets then. A speech given by Dave Filoni, his infamous speech by this time, at the National Center for Women and Information Technology. This is a speech, by the way, where Dave Filoni throws fans under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall that one. Dave Filoni throws fans under the bus, says we're all toxic and you're complaining about women in Star Wars? Yeah, that's it. The same fandom who really loves Mara Jade, the same fandom who really loves all these other powerful female characters in Star Wars, are the same, apparently, the same fandom
that love
complains about
Ahsoka as
female
well.
characters.
I just want to point out.
And not only that, he even mentioned it a few seconds before he said all that stuff. So everyone loves Ahsoka, not just women, but the male fans too. He said that. Those words came out of Dave Filoni's mouth, more or less.
Not just the men, but the women and the children too.
Yeah, that's what he said. And then he said that all these toxic man baby fanboys are all mad about women in Star Wars.
It's almost like if you write a good character, people like them.
And if you write a
Who
bad
would
character,
know?
and then if you write a bad character, they don't. It's almost as if it's common sense.
Instead of humbling herself, she was proud of her insufficiency.
Jordan Peterson. Okay. So, speech given by Dave Filoni explains the recent woke changes to Star Wars Clone Wars. Shaved side of the head. Like, this is not Star Wars. I look at these two sisters, and they're not Star Wars. Also,
well, why is one of them wearing a fur coat? That's one of my questions.
Because their whole idea is getting enough money to leave the planet. She's wearing a fur coat. Just sell the fur coat. You need every. They even don't they even say the lines that we need every credit we can get. Just sell the fur coat. Why do you need a fur? You even take it off later on. Like,
sell the workshop. Sell everything. Then you have enough money to get off the planet.
Yeah, you want to leave the planet behind anyway. Just sell everything, including that fur coat, and stop getting $500 haircuts, and going to Starbucks all the time. That'll help. That'll help. I mean, obviously they go to Starbucks. And these are really strange haircuts. These are psychotic haircuts. This is how you know they're woke SJW characters.
Yeah, they seem to spend a lot of time on their hair for some reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they didn't, they could leave.
Yes, I'm going to shave the side of my hair off. Why? Who knows?
Also, that's not counting that they actually do have a working ship, and they actually do leave, making their whole motivation moot by the end. So it's really strange. It's a really strange character arcs. Like the whole idea of these sisters, like we want to get off Coruscant. You want to earn enough money to get off Coruscant, and get a ship, get off Coruscant, and live a new life. And part of their plan is to go spice running, which then leads them to having the ship they already had, leaving Coruscant and going spice running.
And then at the end of the episode, they go all the way back to Coruscant.
Yeah, all the way back to Coruscant on the ship, full of fuel that they can apparently afford. And then this girl right here is like, oh no, they're going to take my ship. So I'm going to dump all the spice. Problem solved.
The two are arguing. Ahsoka's like telling them, it's like, oh, well, the Pikes will take your ship. They'll take everything. And then they say, oh, no, you don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. And then, bipolar rage, the fucking dimwit sister just blasts all the spice, like the really expensive spice out into space.
Outside of a comedy, outside of a literal comedy or a parody or something, these two characters are probably some of the dumbest characters in all of fiction. It's like you're transport. It's like they strapped Ahsoka with two Lennys from Mice of Men.
it's so strange. As we talked about before, Ahsoka has been sheltered her entire life by the Jedi Order, so it doesn't really make sense that she would know more about the underworld and the reality of everything compared to these two. These two have lived in this world in the underground of, or the underlevels of Coruscant on level 1313. If you don't know anything about the 1313 game, 1313 is supposed to be the worst level on Coruscant. It's ridden with crime. Law is pretty much supposed to be little, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they should be the ones teaching Ashoka, like showing Ashoka new things and the truth about life. But Ashoka's teaching them about life.
The dynamic should be that she knows combat, she can fight, while these two know how the real world works, because Ahsoka's never paid rent, she's never had a job, she's never bought a speeder bike, she's never needed a license to fly a speeder, she's never needed this, that, and the other. She's never needed so many things because it's all just been given to her by the Jedi Order.
Can you imagine like a movie about like this pampered girl or whatever? She gets to go. She goes to an Ivy League college. She's been pampered her whole life. She's gone to private schools her whole life. She's a rich dad, rich mom. She lives in an elite society, and then she gets dumped in like the ghetto or something, or her adventures lead her to the ghetto, and then she teaches the people in the ghetto about con artists and stuff. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, oh no, you should do that.
Really pampered. It's just that the Jedi sorted out everything for her, other than her combat, and because she is a guardian of peace and justice, like the rest of the Jedi.
Pretty much. But
it's just that she's never had to live in the real world. She's always had to live in the temple.
Could you just imagine this this pampered college girl? This goes to the ghetto and then knows all the street on the street slang and knows the prices while everyone else in the ghetto doesn't. That would be kind of like
she knows about the pikes, and she knows how reality works,
and the gangs and stuff like that.
And these fuckwits don't know anything. They're supposed to be street smart, but they're not. They're really not street smart.
They're naive, and Ashoka's the one who's street smart somehow. In comparison, they should be really street smart, but they're not.
Is this in the new series? Like,
this is last season, last season of the Clone Wars.
Oh God,
the latest season, the latest and last season. I don't know why they added this in here. As far as I'm concerned, they could have just like hacked that whole arc from the continuity, and it wouldn't really change the outcome.
Other than Ahsoka getting with the Mandalorians, but even then, you could have done anything with that.
Yeah, they could have instead of doing the whole arc, they could have said, "Oh look, there's Ahsoka Tano. Let's go talk to her."
What's painful is that originally this was supposed to be there's supposed to be a large amount of screen time devoted to Ahsoka by herself, showing what had happened since she left the Order. Like there was one concept art of her sitting in a kind of park, and she's looking through the buildings at the Jedi Temple, and these kind of nice like slow character moments where it's just showing her and like how far away she is from where she used to be, and it's just slowly going through her life, and then she ends up coming across Nix Okami, and then she ends up learning about the real underworld through him, because he's supposed to be street smart. At least in the original clip, he was supposed to be street smart. I don't know if I can still get the original unfinished clip, if it's been taken down.
Yeah, but the rest of the season was really good. The rest of the last season was pretty good. This part, however, was not. It was just annoying.
And the Siege of Mandalore were just great.
It was fantastic. But then we get to this arc with these two sisters, and like, how are these two sisters this dumb? Did they share one brain? They have like a one brain cell they have to split between each other.
It's my turn with the brain cell.
Essentially, yeah. It's almost like one of them is only one can be smart at one time.
Yay.
And then this girl with the little poof in front of her head, this one, she's the one that dumps the spice. And we first meet her, she's like, Ashoka Tano wants to help her fight off some thugs. And then she goes, no, I got this. And then she gets beaten up. And then having Ashoka Tano having to just step in. You would think, usually in that scenario, it's, no, I got this. And then we see how strong she is and she can beat up the thugs on her own. No, it turns out to be, no, I got this. Please help me. I need help. Please, never mind. I don't got this. Like, wow, really? These are that's not telling me these are strong characters. That's telling me these characters are going to be really particularly pathetic. See, next is 906. Thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. Ashoka has a novice level knowledge of the underworld. She knows how to watch her back and survival, but that's about it. Yeah, so that's true because she's been through the wars and she's been through several of these instances. You would think that these two girls, these two sisters, who have grown up in the harshest part of the ghetto on Coruscant, would know a little bit more than Ashoka Tano, who has basically lived in the Jedi Order her whole life, been to war, and only has like a mild brushing with the criminal underworld. But they don't. But she's the one teaching them all about how the underworld works. Hatch450SX, thank you much too. I'm losing brain cells by the second. These people, yeah, it's pretty bad. This is Dave Filoni's going to defend this. He's going to defend this. That's
Keep in mind, somehow Dave Filoni managed to like ahead the do a lot of work on the Siege of Mandalore, which was honestly one of the best Clone Wars arcs we ever got, and then he somehow manages to think this as well.
Somehow, I have no idea how. It's like sometimes he forgets how writing works, and then he remembers. I guess either that he is Mr. Magoo, just accidentally doing things that are awesome. Filoni spoke at the Center for Women in Information Technology back in 2016, where he discussed fan reaction to Rey's character in The Force Awakens, as well as fan reaction to Jyn Erso in Rogue One. I mean, how they had the soulless husks instead of characters. That could have been it. But before he got to fan reaction, though, to Rey and Jyn Erso, Filoni recalled his time playing sports as a kid, and how he often heard and used the phrase "Don't be a girl." Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
He's going to be feeling guilty about that now. Is that it? He's going to be feeling. He's going to show some. What is it called? Like male guilt? Is that what it's going to be? This is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic. He's going to be doing all kinds of nonsense, isn't he?
What? Yeah, actually, looking back at that phrase, like, I get why today, out of context, people would be annoyed by it. But like back then, girly culture was this wimpy, dainty. Like you were encouraged to do that. So like, it's not like they were encouraged to be like that. So like it made sense then. It's like, hey, don't be wimpy. Don't be stupid. Don't act like they are right now. And most girls even then were perfectly aware of that. They would say that themselves. Like you've seen that iDubbbz video about James Gunn, like so. How whenever like James Gunn got banned off of Twitter for making, edgy jokes, but he went and he broke down what each of those jokes meant. Like he did this, like it's really, really good. I can actually find it for you. But like when people look back, they don't look at the context of what things are said. They just take it at face value and judge it by today's bullshit.
And you're right about that. I remember that saying, "Don't be a girl" thing. Girls use that too, because who's not supposed to be girls? Guys. Guys not supposed to be girls.
Mm-hmm.
And even girls knew that. The girls were like, we don't want guys to be girls. Like, just don't be a girl. Just stop crying. That's basically what they said. I mean, you see this in 90s movies all the time. The girls say to guys, don't be a girl, because they don't want guys being girls. Dolomaticus, hello, Little Devil. Hello, Dolomaticus. Welcome. You could join.
See, that's just internalized misogyny, of course.
Or they'll say, well, a man wrote that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, a stupid evil man wrote that movie.
Well, I've seen girls call guys like, don't be a girl.
Yeah, all the
before.
time. Yeah. They should. I mean, they should. I mean, they usually do that when a man is being considerably unmasculine. So I'm on the girl side on that one. Like, stop it. Stop being a girl. When they call it, we tell a man stop being a girl. When they say that, yeah, they usually are on the right. Stop being a girl. Okay. The adult version of that is Godfather. You can act like a man, and it gives him a slap. It's the same thing. I don't know what to do, Father. I don't know what to do, Godfather. I don't know what to do. You can act like a man. That's basically it.
Zofrat just said even women should stop acting like girls once in a while.
Very nice, very nice. But yeah, I mean, men are supposed to be masculine, and I don't know. I agree with that. What's wrong with men being masculine? I don't know. So I think I should get that clip of, of Marlon Brando going, "You can act like a man." Uh, but let's see how what kind of guilt Leigh Filoni is going to lay on us. I can't wait. I see. Looking back on the usage, Filoni now takes issue with it. He explains, "I have to admit to you, I would have said that probably many times growing up, and not thought anything of it. You want to start to affect change, then you kind of have to forgive yourself for this foolish behavior, and say now I want to be part of a change." Wait, that's not how it works, Dave Filoni. You are appealing to a crowd of people who offers no absolution nor forgiveness. If they learn that you did this, they will
Was
not
it,
say, "Oh, you're a different person back then." They will say, "It's
wasn't
time for you to be canceled."
wasn't Cenk Uygur like burnt to the stake for past conservative remarks he made when he was very young?
Yes, it's usually how it goes. Hey, you said this
Like,
thing 40 years ago. Time to cancel you. Time to ruin your life.
yeah, he made some was it like relatively sexist things, which I mean, I would even agree are sexist, but still, like compared to like who he is today, that's obviously not who he is anymore.
I mean, now he's down to like defending bestiality and stuff. So I don't. He's been
Wait,
kind of
what?
crazy. Yeah, he's
Oh God,
someone covered. I forgot who covered it, but he's apparently. I
is
think
he?
it was Medicare. I think Medicare covered that. He's apparently.
Is he like? Is he still with TYT or like
I think
fucked
so.
with
I'm
him?
pretty sure he is. But he was defending relations with a horse.
Is he a brony? Like,
Right.
I don't know. I stay away from that stuff. I stayed away from Cenk
I
Uygur,
think we know what his fetishes are.
and learning that, I definitely stayed away from it. I didn't. It didn't bring me any closer to the guy. I was like, okay, I'll just stay over here. You do your thing, Cenk Uygur.
Whatever makes you happy. Now go have happy relations with your horse and stay away from me.
Ow! Shut up, Will.
Fantastic. Oh, anyway, what are you about to say?
Nope. cannot top that.
Okay, so let's see the guilt. I want to see Dave Filoni's guilt. Bring your guilt out on parade, Dave Filoni. I want to see it. I want to see it. Bear it before us. Let's see here. Director Duelist. No Director Duelist. Cenk was burnt at the stake for supposedly sounding conservative, not for denying the Armenian genocide. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that he did, didn't he? That's okay though. Being a genocide denier is fine, I guess. But sounding remotely conservative, time to cancel you over that. Not genocide denial. That's fine according to far leftist weirdos.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like the Young Turks. So not like the TYT themselves, but what they named themselves off of without even realizing. Some kind of like pretty much Hitler Youth.
I think so. I think it's something like that. Maybe that's why Dave Rubin kind of left.
Ironic.
Let's see here. He continues, "That dynamic is wrong because what we are saying when we say these simple words in this moment is that we are devaluing people, devaluing them. We are making people as lesser, and that they can get, and that can get in a story. It can get in a movie. We have to get rid of these ideas. Like that's a man's job. That's not your place. We have to start acknowledging these things. Get said, and acknowledge these things. Get said, and acknowledge these things. Get said. Okay. We have to start acknowledging these things, get said, and we have to start changing them in our stories and in our vocabularies as people." Filoni later added, "I think of myself as very, I like to think, liberal-minded, but was I as much in practice as I was in theory for what I thought I was? We have to be diligent to break these types of old age biases. So ta-ta for now. I am Dave Filoni." Let's see here. He then claims he put these ideas into Star Wars when he joined the team in 2005. Filoni states, "So, in 2005, I beg your pardon, my dear, I got an amazing opportunity. I was hired by Lucasfilm to work directly with George Lucas on the TV series Star Wars: The Clone Wars." Let's see. As the speech progressed, Filoni then outlined Lucasfilm's vision of Star Wars. "This is what we try to do with Star Wars." Oh, that's him. Oh, this is Filoni talking. "This is what we try to do with Star Wars saga. We try to create more female characters that can represent so many things. Because what we are trying to do isn't just create one type of character. We are trying to create a diverse range of characters, especially female characters that are strong, that are independent." We failed.
I want to point out that the fucking retard sisters are no way independent, since they always need Ahsoka's help because they are so stupid. I'm not. They are so stupid. They need Ahsoka's help every fucking time. How is this independent?
For going by some of the Clone Wars episodes I've watched, I think I've watched quite a few of them by now.
Yeah.
There is not one single female character in that series that is "quote unquote" independent.
I don't
Because
think
they're
there's
all-
a single
they're all
male
well-written.
character who's independent.
There's not one single character in that. You're right. There's not one single character in the entire Clone Wars series that is "quote unquote" independent. They all need someone at some time. Like Luke Skywalker. I mean, Anakin Skywalker needed Ahsoka Tano sometimes. Ahsoka Tano
Yeah, he needed Obi-Wan. He also needed
They-
Padme at times.
It's almost as if it was a war going on or something. I don't know. Where they
How
not
even
How novel.
even one of the most badass characters in that show, Rex, you know, he's not independent by any means. He's not the most powerful. Like, maybe he's a bad example, because obviously maybe Anakin would be a better example actually.
even
But
Mace
Rex
Windu.
needs his he needed Jar Jar, which
Mace
is
Windu need Jar Jar
hilarious.
Binks. So even Mace Windu was not independent, and he's a one-man army. He's a one-man wrecking ball. You can, I'm pretty sure they can either send an entire clone army to go solve a problem, or just send Mace Windu. But there's only one Mace Windu.
Oh, Mastering Mace. Sorry, Mastering Mace. That's what he calls him.
Mastering Mace. Unfortunately for the Republic, there's only one Mace Windu they can throw around. So there's two colossal incidents they have to solve. They can toss Mace Windu at one, but there's only one of Mace Windu. They have to throw an army at the other. Hey, Dolomaticus. From watching the Geeks and Gamers live stream, the guy he had on here pretty much thinks that Filoni said what he said because pretty much him saying anything else would get him deleted.
Well, he did, obviously, he did. I don't think he would have had to attend that conference.
So if that's
Mm.
true, then either he's throwing the fans under the bus legitimately and truthfully, or or Filoni doesn't have a spine. He just bends to the whim of these people. He doesn't have no spine to.
No, but is he by any means forced to go for this women's conference?
I don't think so. I don't think you're, unless he's contractually obligated to go to the women's
Also,
conference. I don't think so.
Strange how in a women's conference they get a man to talk.
Yeah, it's like could they not get like a Kathleen Kennedy or something? Maybe they brought Filoni out there to be like a circus show.
The most strangest part about this is that Dave Filoni has always praised the fans, even since Force Awakens. He's always praised them. He's talked about how amazing they are, and because another thing, he is a fan himself, and he's praised the fans so many times, even very recently, and he has never once shat on the fans. Maybe jokingly when there's one episode where people started asking on this ice planet, they said, "What are they burning in that fire?" And he took the piss out of people for nitpicking, but it was more joking taking the piss rather than, actual legitimately throwing them under the bus.
Like typical nerd, like
Yeah.
like
It's like,
typical-
what are they burning in that fire? This planet's made of ice. It's like, they're burning some fat and on some bones. How about that?
Like, yeah, inconsequential stuff. Yeah, it's whatever. Nerds have fun with that all the time. We like doing it. But like, what's annoying about these Hollywood writers is they don't know what the word strong means either. Like they think strong means they need someone to be able to do fucking everything. And take out, like they need to be able to take out 10.
Well, first you
10
have to
people
define
at
what
once.
you mean by a strong character. Do you mean a strong character as in well written, or do you mean a strong character as in powerful?
Well,
Because
when
there's-
they say strong character, they mean powerful.
Yeah.
But like when people are talking narratively, they just mean a strong narrative character who is like, you know, capable of just taking care. Not God, I'm even having a hard time defining it myself. But like Ariel could not fight anyone, but she was a strong character in that she had agency. You know, like. That was just a one that came to mind, but you get the idea. Like these new Hollywood writers just don't understand what strong means. They think it's somebody who
It
has
means
to be able to
powerful.
take. Yeah, they think it's Ray.
Yeah, this perfect, someone invincible at every single turn. That's why they always use the term strong and independent together, because they think they're like inseparable. So if they're independent, they have no weaknesses. They have nowhere where they're lacking. So they're completely independent. Therefore,
like-
they're strong.
In their mind, Rey is a strong character because she is physically powerful.
She can do
But-
everything.
Yeah, if you go by what normal people consider a strong character, she is very weak. She doesn't have any character.
Oh, we got to represent more people. Why don't you entertain people? Why don't you stop applauding yourself?
And I'm waiting for that to happen. When can these Hollywood writers stop applauding themselves and start entertaining us again? Dave Filoni.
You're expecting too much.
As the speech progressed, these female characters and that are strong and independent. Not one female character you've written, that I've seen in the Clone Wars has been quote strong and independent. Not a single one. They've all needed someone at one point or another. They might be powerful. They might even be powerful as Anakin Skywalker or even Mace Windu, but they all needed someone at some point because it's kind of a human thing to do. Need someone else to help you.
Another thing is that even when the Clone Wars, Anakin gets his butt handed to him a couple times by Count Dooku.
Even Count Dooku was not independent. He needed help sometimes. Other villains help, but help nonetheless. And it's here. Nef Champion, good morning, LD. Best chat, shiny, a new guest. Well, good morning, Nef Champion. Hello, hello. And hello, Geeky Vicky. Hello, and Ben Z. Welcome, Ben Z. Welcome. And welcome, God of Plague. And welcome, the Shadow Luft Nose. Strength does not equal invincible. Exactly. You can have a strong, powerful character, but that doesn't mean they're invincible. They can get defeated. Like Anakin Skywalker, canonically supposed to be like the strongest Force user to ever exist, or something like that. Still gets beaten.
Do you know what's funny? The Retardation Sisters, they're neither a strong character in terms of their power, and they're neither strong characters in terms of character writing.
They're only really strong and with the level of literal stupidity that they bring to the table. I've never seen
with retardation and bipolar.
I've either never seen characters this done before, or I've forgotten, and it's been a long time since I've seen this character before. This character's this done before, and Ashoka had to step in. Ashoka, who has lived in a seclusion and a Jedi enclave her entire life, is more or less like.
Do you understand life? Do you?
That's essentially Ashoka Tano. They made Ashoka Tano Taniwaso during this entire arc. Do you understand life? No, they don't. They don't understand life for some reason, even though they've lived in 1313, which is basically the ghetto. If the ghetto had a ghetto, it would be 1313.
The Detroit of Detroits.
Like if Detroit had a smaller, worse Detroit inside of it, it would be 1313. Anyway, see, Filoni then discussed fan feedback to Rey and Jyn Erso. We haven't done a movie for like 10 years, and here comes a Star Wars film, and here comes Rey. What is it? Panic in the streets? Oh my gosh, a female lead in Star Wars movie. And then the trailer of Rogue One comes out. Oh my gosh, how unfair. We've had probably like 2 million straight films, cinematic roles where men have been leads, and now we've done 2 in a row that are women. Well, too bad. Oh well, maybe there are more coming. I don't know. How about you watch a movie, Dave Filoni? Have you ever watched a movie in your life? Have you ever seen Star Wars media outside of the films, or there's lots
Yeah,
of
he
characters.
seems to be specifically talking about the Star Wars films rather than like the actual films, because in actual films there's been plenty of female protagonists.
Yeah, even if you just go by the films, there are plenty of female characters in those too. Well, they're not too many, but there are some. But then again, no one was complaining about them being women. Not at least not the most substantial outcry. It was
The biggest like problem people have with the Mattis is it's not the fact they're women of color, it's the fact they're fucking retarded.
Yeah, if you're talking about the sisters, it's the fact that they're terribly written, and basically they just waste our time. If you're talking about the movies, the fan backlash was not because of, Ray's a woman, she's not a man, we can't follow her. It's because she was terribly written, and not only that, she was also coupled with the fact that her entire story arc just spits, diminishes, and stomps on the legacy of the original trilogy.
And with Jyn Erso, the problem is that a lot of characters in Rogue One didn't get any kind of character development. They were all very static, and they maybe should have spent more time developing the characters.
Yeah, and Rogue One was boring. It was just flat out boring to me. I couldn't finish it. It made me go to sleep. I never sleep.
I mean, I like Rogue One only for like the last half an hour because it's got some really great action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the robot. I remember liking the droid from Rogue One.
Yeah, K2SO is a legend, and I fucking love him.
Because he actually had a personality. Like
Yeah.
they always give the droids like the most interesting little quirks. Meanwhile, the humans are like usually cardboard cutouts.
Basically, just pieces of wood with legs.
Although I did kind of like the Asians. I thought they were kind of interesting in Rogue One. Like not great, just interesting.
They had Donnie Yen in there, and they wasted his character. They had Donnie Yen. How do you waste Donnie Yen like that? They should have given him more things. I don't even know the guy's name. I just know him as Donnie Yen. That's how forgettable the character was. And see, Rocket Sailors for $1.99. How much do you want to bet Finn was the original Jedi? I think he was. I've heard this. I haven't confirmed this, but I heard from the grapevine that Finn was the original Jedi, and then they wanted, I think Kathleen Kennedy or somebody said, no, we have to have a female Jedi. And so they kind of bumped Finn to the side, made him a walking joke.
Yeah, it would explain why, like, he was originally holding the lightsaber, and then they kind of just quickly gave it to Rey in one of the later trailers.
Yeah, he had a blue lightsaber and everything. He only had a blue lightsaber in the movies for all of a few minutes until he got defeated.
Well, John Boyega is so salty right now. Like he is just he got screwed.
He got screwed big time on that one because relatively speaking, Finn isn't even that great of a character, but he's the best character, relatively speaking, in this sequel trilogy. He's the one with most personality and most development during all that stuff, and that's relatively speaking. Like it's not that if you put John Boyega's Finn in any other movie, he'd be horrible. But relatively speaking, because he happens to be in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, he's like the best one in there. Which kind of like being, I don't know, the
healthiest burger at McDonald's.
Exactly, the healthiest burger at McDonald's.
Our master said Finn was going to be a Jedi, but then they gave up.
Then you gave up. They bring in Star Trek Picard just to increase the pain.
Did you get that clip yet? That's a stupid question clip.
Okay, there we go. Make sure I got this. Okay, I'll get this real quick. Rock and Sandals for $1.99. I called the droid Sassbot. He died a true hero. Basically, what his character was kind of like
the only character that died was that I cared about was K2SO. The rest of them I didn't give two shits about.
Yeah, I don't even remember who they were. I know Jyn Erso because she was like the main character. I thought it would be really cool. Like, what is with these new Star Wars writers and giving no meaning behind the names? So what's your name? Han? Who are your people? I
have no people.
Okay,
oh my god.
So Solo. Your last name is Solo now.
Han Solo.
I said really? That's his last name. Why did you have to give his last name an origin?
Yeah, it's because this guy thinks it sounds neat, and it's neat to put something down the page.
I'm waiting for the job, like the Hutt's origin story. Like they're secretly all pizza makers or something, or that's how they got started.
They found one guy found him in a hut out there in the wilderness.
So
this Lisa have no name. You live in the hut, so I'll call you the Huts. Okay.
So this clip here was released years and years ago during a panel for when they didn't think they were going to finish Clone Wars, so they showed off what they had for certain episodes, and this is pretty much the only limited knowledge we know of Nix's character, other than what we were being told in storyboards and such. There's also another one for a cutscene in the Bad Batch.
Before we start this, I just want to go over the fact that the same fact that the same method they used to name Han Solo was apparently the same method they used to give Rogue One the name Rogue One. I thought, when I first heard Rogue One, I knew it was going to be the spy mission to go and infiltrate the Empire to get the plans. That's how they have the plans in the original trilogy. Cool, awesome, very good. And so I thought Rogue One was going to be the code name. Like, you know how have you ever seen Inglourious Bastards? How the team that infiltrates goes behind enemy lines they're called the Bastards. I thought that was going to be, you're going to be designated code name Rogue One. That's going to be your team name, your spy name or whatever it is.
But then it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like,
nowhere.
What's your number? It's Rogue
One.
Rogue One.
Oh,
wait, that's not valid.
And what was it? It's like okay. So, ever seen La Femme Nikita? And her code name is Josephine. If you watch the show, you get to see what's his name? I can't forget his name, but her handler. In the show, his name is Michael, but his code name is Jacques. Is pretty much Jacques or something. I thought that's the Rogue One. I thought that was going to be her code name, and so okay, it's going to be cool. But this like Solo, it's just at the very end she gets the name Rogue One only because what's your number? Rogue One. Yeah, that's it. Rogue One. And I said, really? That's that's the name of your movie, right? Your name of the movie is just now something you just thought of on the fly. Not a really cool code name that you could have been given to go on a secret mission that they send you on. This is so horrible. What are they doing? Was that just to subvert my expectations? Because you did, but it was really, really dumb. Rocket and Sailor for the 99. Leia can fly through space because she's a Skywalker. But
no, she's a space flyer now.
I get it.
Doesn't make any sense though, because she can't walk on the sky. She had to be a space flyer. Leia Space Flyer. Maybe that was her. Maybe it was Padme's maiden name or something.
Oh my god.
Anakin Skywalker and Padme Space Flyer.
All right, let's watch this clip then.
Maybe is it Padme Poppins? I mean, that's it.
Oh, call me. Do you have what you owe me?
Hey, Pintu. I was just coming to see you. I've been helping a new client rebuild her speeder. I was waiting for her to pay me the last few credits she owed me.
So, where's my money?
I'm a few credits short.
Then this is going to hurt pretty bad, don't call me.
Well, the question is, will it hurt me or you?
Looks like it's gonna hurt you.
You can see that they straight up ripped this scene, but this is far more entertaining than they wanted more.
You're doing pretty good.
You can go get help anytime you want, Ahsoka.
But only if you let me stay free of charge.
Free? No way! Fine, free of charge. Just go get help. Oh, that hurt.
I think you're gonna leave now.
Also,
Okay.
her outfit was better in the unfinished episode.
I love how she fights like Mugen from Semi Shampoo in this episode. But yeah, that's the guy they turned into two sisters. Like, instead of that guy, we got two sisters.
Well, he seems like he'd actually be pretty interesting to. I kind of want to know more about Nick Okami because he seems like he'd kind of be like a Han Solo kind of character.
Here he has like infinitely more character and personality than those two sisters did. And I think that not only did they spend like $500 a piece on haircuts and wear fur coats, and one of the sister who has a fur coat, she sounds like she's been smoking for like 80 years. Horrible smoker's voice.
Where's my money?
Like maybe if you get rid of your smoking habit, sell your fur coat, and stop spending 500 credits a piece on haircuts, you could get the credits you need to get off the planet. I don't know. We need to budget a little bit better. They budget like this creator's budget.
Oh, I love how everyone in chat saying "ow" as they saw that guy get kicked in the nuts.
Press F in chat for this dude's nuts.
I guess kicking someone below the belt is not path of the dark side. It's a Jedi move.
Spinning's a good trick. She learned from the best.
The obvious question is, why did we do this?
Who knows? Why would they change his character?
Why did you turn this guy? Why did you turn this guy? Okay, why did you turn this guy into two bland, like sisters with no brain in their heads? Why would
I
you
also
do
want
that?
to point. I also want to point out that this guy, this is his hangar, this is his workshop, that's his ship behind him, and they've all been given to these two sisters. Like they've just straight up stolen everything he had.
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of all of this. This is where we're going. This is why we fight so hard.
Yeah, if you keep doing this, you can get soy boys. You want soy boys? This is how you get soy boys. You want ants? This is how you get ants. Let's see here. Move this over here. There we go. Okay, so back to Filoni's.
There's one more clip. There's something which was removed from Clone Wars Season 7 on the Bad Batch, and you just have to play it from the point which is stuck at the moment. I believe it was 33 seconds.
Let me see here. Get it up and running. Okay. Almost there. All right, come on, load. Good. Should do it. And let's go ahead and pull it up, and not remember to share the audio and not change the world. Changing the world.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why this clip is being removed.
Let's check it out.
From the original final product.
Is the one where they removed like Padme's picture?
Yeah.
Padme Poppins.
Hey, what's with the nose art? Ah, that's our girl, the Naboo senator. We check her out on the holoscans.
Yeah, you can negotiate with me anytime.
Let's get aboard. That is not staying there.
Too bad it was removed because of male gaze or whatever. It was objectification. That's what it was, or was it? I don't know. I can't keep up with the terms these days, like sexuality or something like that. Basically, straight man bad. Straight man bad. That's pretty much it. They're attracted to women, therefore they're evil. Let's see here. Okay.
The thing is, you could actually like now I'm thinking about like how could you expand on that? Like how could that be plot relevant? Because it's actually kind of tragic because clones have like what a 10-year lifespan,
if that.
Like no, not 10-year lifespan. They are 10 years old at that point.
Yeah, or well, they age like rapidly. Like they
age twice as fast.
Yeah,
okay.
Fast.
So like tragically speaking, they can't get girlfriends, and so like.
Well, I mean,
like,
they could if they really wanted to. Nothing's
I understand.
stopping them.
Well,
it's just like they couldn't live that. There's a clone that lived happily ever, or as far as I'm aware, happily ever after with a Twi'lek woman.
They might live to 40.
Cutler Quain.
They might live to 40.
They'll be 80.
Do you understand life? Do you?
Either way, it's characterization for the guys, and it's just kind of annoying that they removed it because
It was so fitting for the Bad Batch to have like a picture of Padme on there. It was so fitting, but they couldn't have it on there because that would indicate that they're straight, and they can't have that. Can't have that in Star Wars anymore. You gotta do the 90% or 10% straight people, 90% alphabet people like they do in Marvel. Let's see here. Alex Halo, they want you to LD can barely keep up with the taco words. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's too many of them. There's too many taco words. Okay, you need to slim those things down. Let's see here.
Asking Otaku to slim down. That's an interesting one.
It's asking too much. Granted. Ben Z. Thank you much for the 5. Ben Z, appreciate that. That should have stayed. That's a nice hat tip to the World War II pilots pinup girls nose art. Exactly.
They have pinup, or at least in some of the earlier episodes in the season, they had pinup girls on the gunships.
Yeah, they do.
The
they do. I
ships.
remember that.
There was the Lucky Leku, and that was a gunship that had sort of like a Twi'lek in clone armor. See if I can just find it.
I think it's probably because the Puritans didn't have their hands in this show this yet, so they could get away with it, but not in the current climate where everything is bad. Let's see here. Jeffrey Simmons, Dr. Alpha implies the existence of Dr. Omega. Yeah, he does. I'll have to make Dr. Omega. Make sure that I have a plan for Dr. Omega, or a supposed place where he can fit.
So these are pictures. So that's the gunship, and there's the pinup art itself.
Let's see here. Ship. I don't think people are interested in the ship. Let's see what the art looks like.
She's got like Eva armor or something.
Well, clone art is supposed to be adaptable, so it can form to the user.
Oh, I see it. I see
theory,
it. Okay,
she could wear it.
That's actually relatively tasteful as far as pinups go. Like,
there we go. There we go. So they actually got away with this. So I think this was allowed because this was before the weirdos got a hold of the reins of the show.
Well, is this a specific character? Like,
no, I think it's a random
just pinup
person. Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of the logic. Like I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, maybe there's a logic. No, probably not. They're just probably.
What, do you have a beautiful woman on there who's not 400 pounds? That's not only is that sexist, that's harmful to people of size. Let's see here.
People of size don't even want people of size.
Oh, wrong one. My mouse is double clicking. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get this. Dave Filoni speech. Let's see. Ben Z. Thank you much for 5. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just saying that would have been awesome to keep throughout the series. Also, would have showed the difference between the ships. Yeah, it would have been fantastic. I would have liked that. Really, 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 really cool that they had. They made that more of a thing. Especially if they kept that was Anakin's ship or that was Anakin's crew. They made the Bad Batch a little earlier in the series, and they were like a regular cast or something. That would have been fantastic. I would really liked it. Would have had to give them personality, give them more touch. That's what the whole Clone Wars series seems to be about. Giving the clones their different personalities, make them more humanized than just the random identical clones we see in the movies. Let's see, Matthew J. Nimno.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you were saying it fine. I'm not gonna have anything.
Speaking of Dr. Omega, do you have a super pathetic soy boy Dr. Beta? Good. That's totally something that could happen. Yeah.
I had a character in a medieval campaign named Sir Beta, and his brother Sir Alpha like did the what is that rite of first night or whatever on him, and like stole his wife or whatever.
Prima Noctis.
Yeah, Prima Noctis. There it is. Yeah.
If you can't, the one thing is the one problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots. We can't get them out. We'll breed them out. Let's see here. Rocket Sailor for 999. In before the clones are all dark-skinned child soldiers. Oh yeah, I guess by the time it's First Order comes around, it's kind of what happens. And let's see here. Kilo. Women of size, men are just fat. Women are of size. When it's a man, he's just a fat guy. Okay, here. Let's see. Okay, so at China, at least I feel that it's if that's our experience, fine. But let's see here. Okay, I think this is where we are. Filoni later stated, "I also wanted to get these men that are in this privileged position to tell these stories right now, and to charge that they're dynamic." To change their dynamic and to start looking at stories and characters to just make their interesting characters and stop doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's that your experience, if that's your experience, fine, but we have to be part of this change. At least I feel, well, you're wrong. I know it's your opinion, I know it's your feeling, but your feeling is wrong. Your opinion is wrong, Filoni. It looks like Filoni's going to go woke. Well, this is 2016. I don't know what happened. Maybe he kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of changed his mind since then. Let's see here. He later critiques the idea of strong female character. I respect sometimes as a storyteller, I have to be honest with this idea of strong female character because I feel that marginalizes other type of characters, that a woman that says they are weak. That's one type of character. So he recognizes, he even had the gall to say that women can be weak. A female character can be weak. How dare you, Dave Filoni? Let's see. I want dimensional, diverse characters. I want characters that are women of every race, every age, every description, what have you, doing interesting things and being dynamic. That's what we are dedicated to at Lucasfilm, he adds. What about good characterization? What about good storytelling? I mean, you dedicate to this weird characters, and as long as they're diverse, it's fine. Okay. Shokatano happening to be well written and being just so happened to be going through her own character arc, I suppose is just a coincidence. Character arc second, diversity first, or something, I guess. He then details this is what Star Wars has been doing since the very beginning. I hate it when they do this. I really hate it when they do this. And that's been like this whole time. Comics have always been political. No, you're wrong every single time. It's always a lie.
So past comics were propaganda, and it's like, so what? That's not the comics that people always go back to. Like, that's not what people, when you have comics in mind, and the comics you love the most, it's not the political propaganda of
World War II or something.
Yeah, World War II or the Cold War.
You go back to the classics, the Iron Man comic book where he gets captured by terrorists and he has to find his way out by building an Iron Man suit on his own. They go back to the story of Batman, the story of Superman. The classics are not the propaganda pieces. The classics are the story surrounding character and an excellent, well-structured plot. Those are the ones we always go back to. What's the story of Spider-Man? I remember the original story of Spider-Man, the one that's like one of the most famous comic books, where he gets his powers and he goes off and he's selfish, and then he decides not to stop a criminal. That criminal ends up killing his Uncle Ben, and he learns a lesson: with great power comes great responsibility. Not 1 ounce of political propaganda in there, and that's the type of story we go back to. That's the one we go back to, and stories like that are what we go back to. Even the one written by that scumbag Mark Waid, Kingdom Come, people love that. People love that story. No political propaganda in there. Explores ideas, but no political propaganda. Believe it or not. Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. It's a great story by Alan Moore that explores a lot of stuff. There's no modern politics in there. There's no modern politics in there. It's just a great story, a great look into a great look into the life and some possibilities of the end of Superman, and the characters and the relationships and the enemies that he makes. Even Watchmen is not political. It has politics in it. It's inspired by politics, but it's not political. It doesn't have any modern politics in there. It's not a commentary of modern politics. It's a look into a more realistic depiction of superheroes, how they would be in a world that we live in, and how they would act and be treated and react in a world that is going through the Cold War. That's a story. It's not political. This has politics in it. Okay, just like Game of Thrones is not political. This has politics in it. When we mean political, you mean politicized, which means that it's been charged and turned political propaganda to lobby for one side or the other, which is not Watchmen. It's not V for Vendetta, and it's not pretty much anything that we go back to as a classic. So
Plus,
sorry, HWs.
Plus, even if you want to like say comics were all political and they were propaganda, like it's still not a one-to-one comparison, because like they were all like uniting us against, like, you know, Captain America punching Hitler. That is very clearly trying to unite the country to punch an evil actual dictator. You know, not trying, like nowadays it's all like anger, like what do they call them, spite hires, where they're trying to like purposely divide people, like, hey, this portion of Americans, you're all degenerates, you're all a-holes, and this is what you sound like because you support Red Skull, even though like Red Skull was like low-key making a lot of sense. Like, you know,
that's the irony of it. I think what they did was they copy and pasted a literal speech by Trump and made Red Skull give that speech, and Red Skull was like, wait a minute, hold on, this actually makes sense. Is Red Skull a good guy now? Red Skull started making sense because he put Trump's speech in his speech bubble. So they made Red Skull give a literal Trump speech, and it made sense. It was reasonable. Hitler, however, I think pretty sure that most of the world can agree that genocide is bad, that extermination based on someone's circumstances of birth, that's bad. Okay, in concentration camps where they torture people to death and they have summary exterminations because, I don't know, the officer just woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day. I'm pretty sure that everyone can agree that's bad. At least most people can. Most reasonable people.
It's bad, okay.
It's bad, okay. The same reason why we see Pablo Escobar is bad, or these drug lords is bad, because they have this cruel brutality to them that we cannot comprehend or we cannot agree with. That's why we can all see Hitler as a bad guy. We all see Nazis, like real Nazis, as bad guys because they were doing unspeakably horrible things. And it was easy to unite people against that because they were unspeakably horrible. And people can, in general, see their behavior, see their ideology, see what they're trying to do, and see that as bad or evil. Not so much when you're trying to demonize, this people who are more right wing than you are or something as literal Nazis. It doesn't work that way because if you speak to most right wing people, they make a lot of sense and it's reasonable. Like, you might not agree with them, but you can at least comprehend of what they're trying to say, where they're coming from. Whereas Nazis are like, let's just exterminate everybody who doesn't agree with us.
Why do they always keep trying to bring up the argument, like, say, oh, this has always been political? It's like when we watched Critical Drinker on the Smudcast, and it's like, say, well, you know, teddy bears always had giant 12-inch dildos on their heads.
Yeah, they're trying to rewrite history.
What are you talking about?
They're trying to gaslight you. This lady, remember this lady?
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
What led to that comment of hers was, what you're saying, keep my politics out of my comic book. Keep politics out of comic books. Well, what comic books were you reading? They've always been political. No, they haven't. You see politics everywhere, which is why you think they've always been political. They haven't. Not even this. Maybe every once in a while there were some political propagandist pieces, but again, that's not the mainstream comic book. The mainstream comic book is there to entertain you.
They think if you put a woman in your story, all of a sudden it's political. You think if, like, say, I'm sure they would consider Clone Wars to be political because it's got a female protagonist. I'm sure they would consider, I don't know, fuck, I can't think of anything right now, but just think of something as a woman, has someone of color in that. It's obviously,
if you do anything,
you put a man in there, it's political.
My favorite anime growing up was this. It was a fantasy comedy called Slayers, and it was about the world's greatest sorceress. And she's a total asshole. She's a drinker. she beats people up. Like, she steals food from her best friend, and she's really hysterical. But if it was made today, you know that there's someone's like, oh, is this how you think all women are? No, that's just Lena. She's just awful, dude. She's like, just let her do her thing. You know, it's just.
If you do anything like this, like that, like if you do anything, it's political now.
She's badass too. Like, she's the world's greatest sorceress, and like I don't know. I just, like, when I got to being an adult, and I'm seeing all these people complain that there's no good women characters, and I'm like, I grew up with Lena, dude. She was amazing. I don't know what you've been reading, but like, it's just. It doesn't make sense to me when people complain about female characters, because I've always grown up with cool ones.
I think we don't see these female characters as cool because they're not perfect in every single way. They're not quote unquote independent. They need men at some point, or they need help at some point. That's not what they see.
Well, they need someone at some point, really.
Strong as independent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, Ben Z, thank you much for 5, bro. I'm gonna find something for you to voice, and I want you to use that whiny, annoying voice the entire thing. It's hilarious.
It's like your Jim Sterling impression.
Oh, you mean my Dave Filoni impression? Obviously, this is exactly what Dave Filoni sounds like.
Can we just skip down the article a little bit to when he starts talking about the Bad Batch? Because I'm seriously curious about what he's going to say.
We can. I think we can. Let's see if we can find it. See, Ben Z.
I can see it just there.
Is it right? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Ben Z, thank you much for 5. The difference is the politics of past comics were meant to unify, not divide like now. Yeah, that's the other side of it. The comic books of the past were meant to unify everyone against the Nazis, the real Nazis, not the made-up Nazis that everyone likes to paint everyone else as, but like the real Nazis, the real Nazi party and everything. Today's comic books is to make you hate your fellow American.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering that, and you wonder why the comic books are actually doing fantastic today. Comic books are booming. The American comic book industry is dying, and it makes you wonder why. The American comic book industry dedicated to putting out political propaganda. Rest of the comic book industry in the world ready to dedicated to putting out characters and cool stories and cool concepts. Manga booming. French comic book industry booming. Comicsgate booming. All these comic books. These comic book producing entities are booming. The one that's failing is the American comic book industry, and they've all dedicated their lives to pumping out propaganda. I wonder what's wrong. I wonder what's the difference here. Is it because we're all just toxic fans, or is it because we want good characters, good stories, and not really want to spend $5 plus to read one of these creators go on a political tirade for like 24 pages? I think it's the fact that we want good stories, good characters, and not political lectures. I mean, a lot of people have already been to college. We already spent enough money on lectures. So yeah, a very good point, Ben Z. Comic books of the past, if they win political propaganda around, it's usually to unite people against real evil, real recognized evil, and not the evil that they have to convince us of. But people could see the Nazis were evil. I mean, genocide is a pretty good indicator. And just destroying people for the circumstances of birth, that's a pretty good indicator of them being pure evil. That's why I really like Wolfenstein. I really like the new Wolfenstein. You get to go over there, rampage, kill a bunch of Nazis, not feel an ounce of guilt. It's fantastic. Alex Halo, much of the two. Misaka from Index, Elia and Rin Fate were good. Yeah, from what I've seen, women in anime, they've even no matter how powerful they are, they always are usually balanced out with flaws or not being like or something self-conscious, some self-conscious sort of flaw to their personality. And Blue, welcome Blue. Usually what people that say that mean when they say everything is political is that everything is informed by the world around the author, but that's not what everyone else means by political. Yeah, I mean, I heard that argument before where they say everything's political because everything else is political. That's not what really when if people say political, when fans say stop putting politics in stories, that's not what we mean. We can handle politics in stories, like Game of Thrones. We can handle Watchmen. What we don't want is modern politics all the time in there, and what we don't
Especially a certain kind of social justice.
exactly, because what we really don't want, what we really don't want, is propaganda pieces. Now, because propaganda when
I'll
when it
tell you
takes
what I
both
want. What I
sides.
really want.
But the piece becomes propaganda when it takes a side in a very complex political issue and says that their side is good and the other side is evil, even though
Mhm.
either side can be, you can see the points of either side. So, for example, the abortion issue is always a overt one. It becomes, if you write a story like Star Trek and you know have what's it called, ethics. Remember the episode Ethics, where Worf loses his, breaks his back, and he's facing he wants to commit suicide, ritual suicide, because he feels like he's a burden now. But the ethics of Starfleet is no, there's no euthanasia. So it explores that. Now, so it's not a propaganda piece; it's an exploratory piece. If it became propaganda, then the author would take a side there and say, "Oh, okay, Worf is obviously in the wrong, and he's evil for even thinking that." Or if it was the other way around, that the Starfleet is evil for keeping him alive, that sort of thing. But it doesn't.
Mhm.
It explores the idea and takes a very mature take at it, and explores all aspects of it, and has points of view. Each character gives their own point of view. There's no clear indication of what is right, which side is right, and which side is wrong, because you can see uh, reasonable arguments made by everyone involved. So we can handle that. That's fine. It's and fantastic. That's not political. When it becomes political, it becomes when we mean by political is that it becomes a propaganda piece. So, for example, like the abortion issue would be like instead of having a story that explores abortion and all of its every facet, every side, having seen someone say, "Oh, it's my body; I can choose what I want," and then you have the other side saying, you know it's wrong to kill an infant before it's born. You can see both arguments, and it's left to the reader to make their own conclusions. Regardless of what happens at the end, it might spare the child, it might carry out the abortion. Whatever happens at the end, it's ultimately left up to the reader what was wrong and what was right. If it's propagandized, then, for example, if it's like an SJW propagandized that issue, and they put the abortion issue in a comic book, it would be her body, her choice. You're good if you believe that, then you're a good guy. If you do, if you believe in what was it called, pro-life, if you're pro-life and you think that uh, it's wrong to kill a child before it's born, then you are absolutely evil. It goes
They
from
straw man it.
yeah, exactly. It goes from a gray issue, like a gray issue that you can be discussed and that should be discussed and explored, to a bad and evil sort of scenario. That's what I mean by propaganda.
There was a wonderful 4chan piece actually talking about why they didn't like Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, because they didn't go in and explore the elements of why Voldemort was wrong. Voldemort lost due to some magical technicality, and that's why liberals like J.K. Rowling are so annoying. They don't actually preach or practice anything that they say. They're just hoping for you to mess up on a technicality, and then they're the winner.
Yeah, that's it. You said this thing which can be interpreted this way, therefore you're evil and I win.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if you notice how they argue, I call it the Jeffrey Calmer strategy. Well, they say outrageous things while staying completely calm. So I could say, well, you're a Nazi and you're a racist and you're a horrible person for believing the things that you do. And I say I stay in a calm mindset. I say a calm voice while you get angrier and angrier and angrier, and you just go off the rails with your anger, even though no matter what you say. Even if you providing facts and providing arguments, you're just getting angrier. So as far as they're concerned, they won because from what it looks like, you're getting angry, which makes you look insane, while they're saying ridiculous things, but they're staying calm, which means that they are obviously in control, that they're dominating the field, that sort of thing. So that's why a lot of these weirdos, these far leftist HW types, they use what I call the Jeffrey Dahmer effect, remaining calm while insulting you, and pretty much eating away at your your very nature, calling you evil or
So
racist, sexist.
So the best you can do is really just try and stay calm the best you can.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I go.
How to you counter that by staying calm yourself, and that's how you counter the Jeffrey Dahmer effect.
Like, you obviously what the other person is saying is obviously stupid and retarded, and you have to make sure that they hang themselves out to dry by just showing everyone how stupid and retarded what they're saying is.
Another method to counter that is to make them angry, to push them to frustration.
Well, no, if you stay calm, they'll just do it naturally, in my experience.
Yeah, usually. But let's see here. That's what we meant by propaganda, is when they want to explore issues that are more complex, and that's like a gray issue that deserves to be discussed and looked into and explored, like Star Trek did with so many of its tough episodes. For example, like Measure of a Man. Yeah, Data ended up getting rights because he's an android, but you may agree with Maddox, you may not agree with Maddox. You want the outcome that happens because you probably like Data, but it leaves you thinking, what does Data deserve these rights if this was an actual event? It leaves you something that you can take away and you can ponder on your own, and you can see what happened during the episode, take what happened in the episode, digest it, and see what you come up with. Okay. Propaganda piece is our side is good, your side is bad. That's what they showcase in a lot of these NPC media. Your side good, my side bad, or your side bad, my side good. That's it.
Have you seen the Orville yet?
Not yet.
Yep,
I haven't yet.
I have.
Oh my! I think you immediately know what I'm talking about with that singled gendered race where
the Mocklins.
Once in a while there's a female born, and so they do a transitional surgery, and one of the couples on board had an immense disagreement about doing this. One was like, no, we shouldn't do that, we should let them decide when they're older, and the other one's like, hey, no, this is the right way to do it. And like that issue stuck with them for 3 seasons, and it boiled over and it got violent, and it was one of the best things ever, because you still don't know who's right by the end of it. Like, it's so good.
I heard that Orville was fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love the idea of it. I love this. I love the origin of it, because from what I've heard, it started off as a comedy, the parody of Star Trek, and then Seth MacFarlane was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Star Trek is already a parody of Star Trek at the moment." So in order to parody Star Trek, he had to actually become Star Trek. That's kind of what I heard went down. I see. Cartesian, you asked about female leads in animation. Beauty and the Beast came out in 1991. Belle is my favorite Disney princess. She's fantastic. Also, she loves books. I mean, how can you beat that? Let's see here. Blue, if you stay calm long enough, they'll still go, LOL, you're so mad. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. I fought with these people for 4 years on Twitter. They always do that. So it really doesn't matter. People see what they want to see. Yeah, especially these people. They see what they want to see. But as long as you don't go, it doesn't matter what they say. Ultimately, it's they're banking on you looking a fool in front of the audience, so that you look like an insane conspiracy theorist like Alex Jones, and they look like a reasonable, level-headed genius. So as long as you stay calm, they can't use that strategy against you. They can say that, oh, you're so mad all they want. It won't really work. And see, Ben Z, thank you much for the 5. One side lets you decide for yourself, and one tells you what to believe. Exactly. Propaganda tells you what to think. So the Star Trek method lets you think for yourself. It provides arguments in a situation, in a scenario, and provides 2 sides to it, gives you everything that's kind of digs into the situation, and then lets you decide for yourself.
Voyager has its problems, but one example I always like to go to for how Star Trek handles issues is one episode where it's pretty much kind of about the death penalty, and 7 of 9, who's originally for the death penalty, ends up turning against it slowly as the episode develops. And it has plenty of arguments for and against. And by the end of the episode, it lets you decide for yourself if you think it's right or wrong, rather than telling you anyone who believes in the death penalty is just straight up wrong. They're a Nazi. They're horrible people. They're this, that, and the other.
Even in that episode you like about DS9, the Pale Moon Light, it tells you the story of Cisco essentially putting together a covert plan to trick the Romulans into the war against the Dominion. And at the end, he says he can live with it. But now at the very end, you can decide for yourself, still, even in that scenario, whether or not Cisco was right in doing all that. You could say, yeah, you agree with him. He was right. He should have done it. He should do this because they need to bring in the Romulans so they can win the war. Or you could say that no, he was in the wrong. Even if they win, that the victory in this case is not worth the subterfuge. That's not what Starfleet is about. That's not what. That's not the right thing to do. It's the viewer. It's up to the viewer's decision whether or not Ben Sisko was in the right. He's not telling you what to think. He's saying that he can live with it. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe he's right. But he's saying no matter what happens from here on out, he can live with it. And it's left to the viewer to decide whether or not he was correct. That's Star Trek. That's when Star Trek is at its best, when it explores these sorts of deep and complex ideas, and puts forth the argumentation, and lets you decide at the very end. It will come to a conclusion, obviously, but ultimately, it's not telling you what to think. It just concludes, and on one side or the other, but it leaves you ultimately with the freedom to think for yourself. Let's see here. Drake the Duelist. So LD likes Punisher, likes Goblin Slayer, hates Light Yagami, and Bella's favorite Disney princess. Are you sure you're not my clone?
He's the devil. You a clone of the devil?
It's possible. It's possible. Let's see here. Okay. Let's finish this. So we're good to the Bad Batch part, I think. Well, Filoni explains that this has always been part of Lucasfilm. He goes on to state, "We are trying to create an environment where it's my hope." Oh, it says him. "We are trying to create an environment where it's my hope that kind of just like Luke. All he kind of." Kind of just like Luke, all he did was open that door, right? That's all he did, Filoni. That's all he did.
He didn't blow up the Death Star. He
didn't blow up the Death Star.
Save everyone.
He didn't concoct the plan in the first place to rescue Princess Leia. All he did was open the door. It was really easy. Just walked down, just strolled down the corridor, said, top of the morning to you guards. I'm just going to let the princess. They said, okay. He opened the door, and that was it. That's all Luke did.
Yeah, and he didn't destroy the Death Star. He didn't go to save his friends after they were captured. He didn't, fight Vader. He didn't, turn Vader back to Anakin Skywalker, anything like that.
None of that. He did none of that. All Luke Skywalker did, Shawnee, was open the door. That's all he did. Three movies. That's all he did. He's opened the door.
Literally, what door are they talking about? I am genuinely confused here.
The prison cell door.
The door to Leia's prison cell.
For real?
Yeah.
That's... Oh my god.
His only purpose was letting Leia out so she can do all the work, apparently. Because that's what Leia did. She did all the work. Luke did nothing for 3 movies. So, did you know that Leia was the main character of the Star Wars movies? Did you know that?
I did know that. That's because I am a good consumer. I'm a good consumer.
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 Two O's. Filoni, what have you done? So that's why the rest of us have to be Ahab. We gotta be Ahab.
I'm fucking Ahab. I'm Captain Ahab of the blue-haired land whale.
Y'all gotta be Ahab, Chad. Gotta be Ahab. Filoni's not Ahab. He tossed away his harpoon. All Luke did was open the door, right? You deserve soy boy voice now. You don't deserve elitist voices. You're a soy boy now. Congratulations, Filoni. You've downgraded yourself to the level of soy boy. Nova Zero, thank you for the 5. A pre-modern society only registers children as human at the age of 5 if they have a living parent or guardian. Otherwise, they're harvested. Guess theme? Huh. That sounds like a kind of like a dystopian sort of what was it? Ever seen Equilibrium? It's kind of like that. They didn't have an age thing, but they did have like they executed you if you felt emotions. So it's kind of like they don't a society that dictates who lives and who dies based on who is perfect and who isn't, according to party doctrine. So what is it? Theme of fascism? Is that what it is? An overbearing government? Is that something like that? Children among like in a battle royale, they send school kids to fight and kill each other because they've grown too violent or something. Alex Halo, thank you too. Everyone knows R2D2 is the real protagonist of Star Wars. yeah, but R2D2 has always been the protagonist of Star Wars. Don't be obtuse, okay? Star Wars has always been right wing, okay?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because what if we start doing that? Luke Skywalker is basically just a space Republican. He has guns. He's on a farm. I mean, come on. Fends for himself. Star Wars has always been about space Republicans saving the galaxy.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, let's see here. All he did was open that door, right? He just opened that door, let Leia out, and she just went gangbusters. That's literally what he says. I wasn't even being. I wasn't even exaggerating. Say Dave Filoni literally says, "Yeah, Luke Skywalker just opened the door and let Leia out so she could do all the work. Luke Skywalker did nothing. I just want to be part of Lucasfilm of opening this door to the new generation of filmmakers of women coming to Lucasfilm and be
And you
creative."
know what's even better? So a fuckwit named Pablo Hidalgo, who's the head of the Star Wars Story Group, said that Luke, what was it? Luke didn't need to save Leia because she had a plan all by herself to escape that prison.
She was really on that plan.
Yeah, when was that going to take place?
Boy, she was just about ready, but that Luke boy just ruined everything.
I guess Leia needed a nap first, huh? Before she put that totally real plan into play, huh?
Oh my god.
Ben Z, thank you too. Fascism and communism are all power to the state. Yeah, that's why you don't trust the state. That's why you don't trust big government, Chad. Big government is your enemy. Just there to look for a time and opportunity to take away all your rights. We've seen that every single time. Where they can find their voice, where they can tell their stories, where they can get support they need to be true visionaries that we know that they will be in the future.
Left-wing activists, they say, nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it. Bitch, it wasn't made for you.
Yeah, don't let them in. Let's ruin everything. They ruined Star Wars. Dave Filoni, you let them in. You open that door, you let them in, they ruined Star Wars. Congratulations. Congratulations, Dave Filoni. If you did this, you are complicit.
And you weak-ass fatbeard cucks who let these bitches come in here and make it unhospitable. Tell the fans that they're Nazis if they don't like their characters being destroyed.
Yeah, stop calling us Nazis when we complain about characters that we like getting destroyed. Okay. Let's see here. Wait, what is this? Disney removes sexy pad name. Yeah, we just watched that.
That was.
Yeah.
That was something else, but if we keep scrolling down, I'm sure there'll be a reason why they removed it.
The speech by Dave Filoni appears to explain a number of woke changes implemented in the 7th season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Filoni had previously indicated that they made a number of these changes to make the story better. What I've seen, it made the story worse. You put in two sisters that are just bland and dumb, instead of one interesting male protagonist that was apparently a lot more interesting than these sisters could have ever been. It's the original animatics and the story reel for the episode "The Bad Batch's ships for Star Wars Clone Wars at a distant echo." That's a dark episode, by the way. That was a dark arc. I loved it. DJ and Voices, think we should 10. That "open the door" line is pretty disrespectful to Leia too. I'm pretty sure she was competent before Luke got there. But guess she needed a man to let her succeed. Yeah, Filoni, I guess Leia couldn't succeed unless a man allowed her to. Good one there, Filoni. I guess Leia couldn't. She couldn't do it on her own. But apparently she had a plan this whole time. Was her plan to just roll a D20 and get a nat 20 and have someone save her? Is that what she did? Is that her plan? Okay. She rolled crit on her luck or something. That was her plan. The Bad Batch's ship features nose art of Senator Amidala and the fashion of World War II fighter pilots. I really like this idea, even though they're clones, and I'm not even sure if they're sterile or not. I don't know, but it's a good idea nonetheless. I really like this idea. In the recent released version of the episode on Disney Plus, the scene featuring the nose art is completely removed. Can't have that, chat. Can't have the dirty, beautiful women on your cartoon anymore. I don't know why they hate women so much, but they do. As reported by Disney, Star Wars is by Disney Star Wars. That's an actual blog. Disney Star Wars is dumb.
Mhm.
Oh, jeez.
It's a very interesting blog. They replaced an Asian character named Nix Okami with the sisters Trace and Rafa Martez. Oh, his name is Nix Okami? Oh, that's kind of on
Yeah.
An Asian character named Okami. That's pretty on the nose, but okay. Filoni had previously described Okami at Star Wars Celebration 2016. Nix was also an attempt I wanted... Oh, that's him. Nix was also an attempt I wanted to have an Asian male lead in Clone Wars. And he was going to be kind of a character bringing to the forefront. And he even details that Okami was supposed to be the love interest for Shaka Tano. Well, yeah, a much better love interest than that one guy. I keep forgetting
Lux.
his name. Lux, yeah.
Apparently, Ahsoka has a thing for men with names that end with X.
She just loves broken men. I think she has a thing for like weak soy boy men instead of like the strong ones, which I guess it makes sense. Let her succeed. That's fantastic. He even details that Okami was suspended to be a love interest for Shaka Tano. What do you make of Filoni's speech and subsequent woke changes to Star Wars, The Clone Wars? You mean other than Filoni stabbing the fandom in the back? I don't know. What do you think? I think it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Let's see here. Okay, we're done with the Dave Filoni stuff. It's more Dave Filoni stabbing the fandom in the back. Usual stuff. Usual stuff we get from these people. I'm not even sure he's in that fabled civil war between himself and Kathleen Kennedy. Pretty sure it just looks that way. He's I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Well, he's good friends with Favreau. So I don't know.
He probably said, you know what, I'm good friends with Favreau. I'm going to put him on board because I think he's the best guy for the job. And it just turned out to be Kathleen Kennedy just took that as an insult. He wasn't even meaning to. Let's see here. So, next up, Star Trek. Rumor has it that the Star Trek Strange New Worlds is going to change Captain Kirk's sexuality.
So what does that mean?
You have no brain.
They're going to change his sexuality now. They're gonna make him bi or gay or something like that. They are going to like kind of rewrite his character a little bit so he can be more diverse, be more woke.
But not in a gay way or anything.
No, of course not. Yeah, it goes without saying.
Let's see what happens.
The obvious question is, why did we do this?
That's a stupid question.
Oh yeah, you get that in here. Well, these are, I presume these are going to be by the same writers that are writing Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard. I have little hope for this because this what was it called? Discovery. I've heard so much. I haven't even seen the show. I know how bad it is because it's just that bad. It's kind of like radiation. You can send 1,000 miles away or 100 miles away from ground zero of a nuclear strike and still die or something, potentially. And you can be close enough. You don't want to be caught in this explosion, but if you're close enough, you can still die to a nuclear explosion because of the radiation, the fallout. It's kind of like that. Discovery is just so bad, you don't have to watch it. You know how toxic it is. Star Trek Picard I've seen. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible series. So if the same writers, I have to say, I don't think I like their style.
What the hell's with you? You can't even write, and you think you have a style.
Yeah. I don't like their style, Chad. I don't like their style. So rumor has it, the Star Trek Strange New Worlds to change the masculine, manly man's man Captain Kirk's sexuality. Because of course they do. They can't have the toxic male Captain Kirk running around being straight all over the place. That'd be too much. Let's see here. Ginger Sleep. White men and white women are not in the same boat. White women benefit from this stuff more than all the non-white and gays combined. It's just the truth. I've heard that too. I heard that there was that's part of a study. I forgot who said that though.
What now?
I think someone said something along the lines of like white women in today's society are the most privileged class out there. I don't know. I forgot who said that. But they brought up some study that said that. But that comment reminded me of that. I don't know if that's true or not. But I remember someone saying that or making that claim. I see Ben Z, thank you much too. Flashback to Han Solo, anyone? Yeah, they're going to kind of take the testosterone, the manliness from Kirk this time. These Fats, Kirk is too manly for a modern day society. Society can't handle such a manly beast. I think that's actually true. They can't handle, because Captain Kirk was he's a man's man. He's pretty masculine. I don't think they can handle a character with that much masculinity anymore. Let's see here. So,
he's a seducer of is he a bi seducer now? Is that what's happening?
I guess so. Maybe they're gonna get John Barrowman to play Kirk this time.
Oh, jeez.
That would be one way of doing it. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see. A new rumor details that Alex Kurtzman and Viacom CBS retconned the sexuality of Captain James T. Kirk in their newly announced Star Trek Strange New Worlds show. Star Trek recently announced Star Trek Strange New Worlds in May, indicating it would be a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery, focused on the adventures of Anson Mount's Captain Christopher Pike, Rebecca Romijn's Number One, and Ethan Peck Spock. Why do you have Spock in there? You already have Pike. Why have Spock in there and ruin him? The series is expected to follow Pike and his comrades in the decade before he boards the USS Enterprise. Writer Akiva Goldsman detailed the show will combine episodic and serialized storytelling and will going back to classical Star Trek values. He explained, I think what they do with Pike, then they I think I watched a video yesterday or something where they just emasculate Pike at every step of the way. Like Pike is constantly being disrespected, not being listened to, and he's been reduced to actually thanking his subordinates when they follow orders for once.
Yep,
that's Pike.
Jeez.
That's Pike now. So that's Pike now. That's Pike now. He's just a demasculated captain that no one listens to, no one respects, and who has to grovel at the feet of his subordinates so that they can do the most basic of stuff. Okay. Let's see here. So yeah, that's Christopher Pike. So apparently, what I've heard about the Strange New Worlds thing is that it was supposed to be finally a return to traditional Star Trek values, which was what we got in the TNG era or the original series era. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. But the thing is, I also heard that no one wants to buy this show. Netflix turned it down. I think Amazon walked out of the meeting room.
No. Netflix turned down Star Trek Picard after Discovery. And then, I don't think Amazon Prime wants this either.
No one wants this. Because CBS and the showrunners of Star Trek have made this property toxic and unreliable. See, Alex Halo, thank you much too, wouldn't even be able to handle Tuma from Index. Is Tuma also like a masculine character? Demon of that Sword. I hate what they've done to Pike. Pike was such a great character. He was a very interesting character. But they just have to emasculate him every step of the way now, I guess. Christopher Cole, if enough damage hasn't been done by Kurtzman with Discovery and Picard, he's got to ruin another legendary captain. If that rumor is true, it will effectively kill Star Trek. Yeah, Kirk is kind of like a sacred cow in Star Trek fandom. You can't really mess with Kirk too much, or else you're going to have another fan uprising on your hands, an even larger one. Let's see. Okay, so the series is expected to follow Pike and his comrades before he enters Enterprise. Writer Akiva Goldsman detailed that the show will combine episodic and serialized storytelling and will going back to classical Trek values. He explained, "We're going to try to harken back to some classical Trek values to be optimistic and be more episodic." Do they know how to do that? Do they know how to do that? Is optimism in the toolbox? I'd be very surprised if it is. Let's see. He went on to explain how the show will embrace episodic storytelling. Obviously, we will take advantage of the serialized nature of character and story building, but I think our plots will be more closed-ended than you've seen in either Discovery or Picard. He elaborated, "I imagine it to be closer to the original series than even DS9." That's what gives me a little bit of hope for this one. But then again,
just because they say something doesn't mean true.
Yeah, we've been let down way too many times by modern Star Trek. And a little bit of hope is not really saying much because it's like more than nothing. A little bit more than nothing. And while Goldsman indicated that the show will embrace more classical Trek values, a new rumor details Goldsman and company are tossing around the idea of including James T. Kirk in the show as well as making him. Okay, they're going to make him bisexual. They're going to make Kirk bisexual. So they're not going to make him gay. They're going to make him bisexual. Okay. Why, though? For what reason?
So, is this an alternate universe, or they're just straight up redoing it?
They're retconning James T. Kirk so that he's bisexual now. He's always been bisexual. That's what they're doing. It's not an alternate universe. This is like they're just writing the history before the original series.
Okay.
So they're just retconning James T. Kirk to being bisexual for some reason. For some reason we don't know of. But that's what they're doing.
But are they going to keep him as this horny bastard still that sleeps around? I have no idea. Because then you're like my wife is bi, and then she would be like, "Oh, so are they saying that all of us bis just sleep around and are horny all the time?"
If you have a bi character, that's usually the depiction. I'll give you John Barrowman's Captain Harkness. Barrowman he's just gay, but Harkness would be bisexual, and yeah, he's depicted like that too. There's a horn dog. That's usually how they're depicted in media. I think so. I think that the usual answer from actual bisexual people to this portrayal is usually something along the lines of
"Ow! Shut up, Will."
Oh my god!
And it is ruining Star Trek left and right. They've ruined Picard. They've ruined Star Trek Discovery. They've really severely damaged the Star Trek name to the point that nobody really wants to invest in it anymore.
They're going to sit there and go, "It was because of COVID. We don't know what happened. It's just suddenly coming." No. Left-wing activists came in and decided to take over this industry, spit in your faces, and destroy what you loved. Wake up.
Pretty much. It's exactly what's going on with Star Trek, at least at this moment in time. I see Alex Halo, thank you too. Toma is both is and isn't masculine. That's interesting. It's an interesting description. Blue, try to make him more like Jack Harkness, maybe, because of that character's popularity with modern audiences is a similar genre. Only reason I can think of. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure because why would you change this thing about Kirk? Why not just make a new character? Why not just make a new captain? I mean, Captain Harkness is awesome, but on the other hand, Russell T Davies, he didn't. I'm like Russell T Davies didn't make the Doctor bisexual and promiscuous. Instead he made Captain Jack Harkness to be the idea of what he wanted the Doctor to be. You know,
Well, the Doctor is like he does flirt with Jack a little bit, but there's not like he doesn't straight up kiss him or anything.
I mean, he's Jack Harkness. You can't really blame the Doctor for that.
Yeah.
Barman is a very good-looking man.
He is.
Am I naked right now in front of millions of people? You certainly are.
Absolutely.
Ladies, your ratings just went sky high. He's at least very charismatic. Oh, he can pull off charisma very well. See, Kilo, thanks for the $1.99. Kirk found Anime Girl Planet and met a trap. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Kirk fell into a trap. Literally. Head first. Let's see here. Thank you for that very much, Kilo. Appreciate that. Alex Halo. Oh no. Oh no, he meant Astolfo. He has turned many a weeb gay. Huh. Interesting. Is that another like Index or Fate character? Be interesting. Say Drake the Duelist. Shani, I've always figured the Doctor was asexual based on the original series, lives 1 through 7. It was a mystery. Like he could have been. He might have had a wife at one point. Might have a granddaughter.
Yeah, it was implied that he had a wife and children because he had was it a granddaughter or something.
Something like
I can't remember what thing he was. I haven't seen the original series. I think I remember him having so. He definitely. I know for a fact he had family.
And it's like the idea of Russell T Davies in that he had control. He was a showrunner. He had the control over everything.
Yeah, he had absolute control.
He could have made the Doctor like he wanted to make the Doctor. He could have made the Doctor like Captain Jack Harkness, but he didn't. Instead, he did what we all suggest that these people do. If they want a character with certain traits, just make a new character. And he made a new character. And not only did he make a new character, he made one of the best characters in the New Who.
A fan favorite.
Everyone loves him. But I'm pretty sure if he instead of making Jack Harkness, he just made the Doctor, openly, it's overtly gay and promiscuous and all that stuff, people would have a problem with that because that's not the Doctor they remember. You're messing around with a legacy character, changing him to suit your needs. But he didn't do that. He made Captain Jack Harkness instead, gave him the traits he wanted to give him, and Jack Harkness became a fan favorite. Jack Harkness is awesome. Let's see, Daniel Chico. Hey, LD, could you put some relevant links in the video descriptions on your first edition channel? It would make it easier to find your guest channels and videos you cover. Oh, absolutely. I can do that.
Speaking of guest channels, come check out my channel. I have a video recently. Oh, would you like to ask me more about my channel?
Yeah. That's what I was doing. I was like, yeah, how dare we're not getting thousands of subscribers from these live streams. Sorry, go ahead, buddy. Drop your channel.
Sure. That's fine. I was more just messing around, but I do have a video out if anyone wants to have a look at it. It's covering the BBC's quotation marks VR video game, the home of VR Spacewalk. It's a very nauseating game. If you want to see a short video about that, then check out my channel. It's Shiny FX. I can't post a link right now, but I'm sure Legend Devil can put the link in there for me.
Shiny FX?
Yeah, Shiny FX. Shiny, letters F and X. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's see here.
So I can't tab out from what I'm doing because I decided to play Empire at War in the middle of the stream.
Let's see here. While Goldman indicated the show would embrace more classic Trek values and new rumor details, so they're going to make Kirk bisexual. The rumor comes from Scooper Daniel Rickman, who wrote on Twitter, heard they are toying with the idea of making Kirk bi in the new series. If Goldsman and company do intend to pursue this, it wouldn't be too surprising and follows Star Trek's retconning of Hikaru Sulu into a gay man and director Justin Lin. You know, I've heard that
Thanks for posting that for me. I was about to see if I could get my iPad to do it.
I've heard that the George Takei actually didn't like the fact that it turned Sulu gay.
Yeah, he didn't like the fact they rewrote his character despite he was gay in the first place.
Yeah, he actually disagreed with it. George Takei, from what I've heard, actually disagreed with their decision to make Sulu gay.
George is pretty base sometimes. Like he understands that a character is a character before it's his representation. Like he did a thing where they were trying to parade Sulu as like some particular thing. I don't remember. But then he came out and said, no, Sulu was meant to be like representation of all Asians. In fact, his name being Hikari didn't come out until like after the fact, I believe, because they wanted him to be the Asian. You know what I mean?
And original series was like that. That's why they had a bunch of stereotypes and a crew together, so they can basically it was to show togetherness. It wasn't to just be racist or something. It was to show togetherness. So they had a stereotypical Russian, stereotypical Asian, a black woman, and they had them all together just to show that they'd be universally recognizable as these depictions of their respective category, just to show that everyone in the world is now working together. Pretty much that's why they did that.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he was very honored to be a part of that too. Like this is my character represents all of Asia, not just Japanese people.
Yeah, that's essentially what would happen. Sulu represented all Asian people. And it wasn't malicious though, like you have nowadays. It was it was the ultimate goal to show us that in a world of turmoil, that eventually, if we do things right, we can have everyone in the world on Earth work together despite their differences. And that's why they had a crew of stereotypes, basically, pretty much. And so Hikaru Sulu into a gay man and director Justin Lin and writer Simon Pegg's Star Trek Beyond Film, Sulu is shown in a relationship with another man and having a daughter. Huh. Okay. Simon Pegg explained the decision on Sirius XM radio. He stated, and that was that was us as well. Why don't we change his sexual orientation? Because that would be a good idea. Because that would be good to do that with a character we already know. He's already prejudged. Introducing a character because of their sexuality felt a little too pandering. I wonder why. And then it's like you can just I don't know, introduce a character who happens to be gay instead of we need a gay character to fill this, check off this box. How about a character first and then make them gay, right? Instead of making them the gay character. And then you have to set him up and you have to say, oh, by the way, I'm gay. And it's like, well, why? Peg continued, we thought it would be interesting to have a character who you already knew, as is often the case when a society actually feel they can't come forward and be honest about themselves. You might know someone for a few years and they say, oh, by the way, there's this as well, and we thought that was good. And then added, it also felt very, who knows what we all are. This is a world where acceptance is total and all that kind of thing is not an issue. And we kind of wanted it to be an issue, which is why we made it Sulu. And it became an issue. Actor George Takei, who played the original Sulu in Star Trek original series, opposed making Sulu gay. So there he is. So there it is. He did do that. Mm-hmm. He did oppose it. He told Hollywood Reporter, I'm delighted that there is a gay character. Unfortunately, it's a twisting of Gene's creation, to which he puts in so much thought. I think it's really unfortunate. Oh my. Takei even detailed that he attempted to get Cho and Peg to make a new character gay. Yeah, it's almost as if Sulu And George Takei kind of agreed with us on this point. If you want to have a gay character, make a new character who happens to be gay, instead of retconning already existing characters. He stated, I told him, be imaginative and create a character who has a history of being gay, rather than Sulu, who had been straight all this time, suddenly being revealed as being closeted. It's kind of like Iceman from Marvel, where this kind of mind raped him into being homosexual. Literally, canonically in the books, Jean Grey mind raped him into being changing his sexual orientation. He added, I said this movie is going to be coming out in the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, the 50th anniversary of paying tribute to Gene Roddenberry, the man whose vision it was carried us through half a century. Honor him and create a new character. I urged them. He left me feeling that was going to happen. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see here. Takei elaborated on these comments in an update on his Facebook page. Okay, so yeah, he opposed making Sulu gay because he wanted, he said if they need to make a new character who's gay, make a new character instead of retconning Sulu. So this is happening again. So but this time, instead of making Sulu gay because the original actor who played him was gay, they're just going to make Kirk bisexual for some reason. I don't know. Does anyone know? Is it? I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with William Shatner. Is William Shatner bi now or something?
No, he's not.
That's the time I checked. He wasn't. So you could kind of make sense why they would make Sulu gay at least a little bit, because George Takei is. But why make Kirk bi? He's already depicted as a very, very straight man. Like ridiculously straight, like legendarily straight. So why make him bi all of a sudden? It wouldn't fit.
In fact, it's now a bit of a parody that Kirk just slept with any old woman, especially green females.
Yeah, kind of strange.
Well, now people who are like aggressively straight, like Kirk, like a lot of my actor friends on Twitter, and it's pissing me off. They're flying the poly flag, which is just annoying. Just like you're not part of the LGBT, dude. You just like sleeping with a lot of women. Don't fucking fly that. Like, I don't know. I think they want to keep the gag that Kirk sleeps around, but they want to make it less toxic masculine because, oh no, he sleeps with dudes too. He's under the LGBT flag. He's good. Like, I don't know.
Can have a man like Kirk being all manly everywhere. It's against party doctrine. Can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to represent more people. Why don't you entertain people? Why don't you stop applauding yourself?
Yeah, good question. Why can't they just stop patting themselves on the back? Stop applauding yourselves. Start entertaining people. It'd be a good idea.
Hell, Dragon Age handled bi and like gay people better than this. Like,
yeah,
and that was
because they didn't retcon anybody. It's like, okay, we want a character who's bi or gay or whatever. Just make Zavron. He was cool. He reminded me of he had like a what was his name? Antonio Banderas. He had kind of an Antonio Banderas vibe. I really liked the character. I really enjoyed his character. I just wish I didn't get him so late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Gracious Primate, thank you much for the 5. Appreciate that. They are probably making Kirk bisexual because of the whole Kirk and Spock. No. Don't do that. Why can't they just be friends? Why can't men just be friends in media? Okay, men can be affectionate with other men and still be friends.
But horny people give us money. Specifically, horny yaoi girls. They give us money.
I guess they want to make a Kirk and Spock canon. That Kirk-Spock relationship, I think, sexual relationship between Kirk and Spock. They want to make it canon. Isn't half the fun? I don't know. It seems like a lot of the fun for these people seems to be the fact that it isn't canon. That they're changing things so that it makes it more forbidden because it's not embraced by canon. I don't know. That's what it seems like. Or the whole Kirk / thing.
Why don't they just do the alternate universe? You'd be like, well, he's just gay in this universe. Get over it. Like why retcon it as well?
Because then we can deny it. And if we do it, if they do in the normal universe, and it's just retcons and stuff, then we can't deny it. We have to accept it as fact.
Yeah.
The whole Kirk and Spock slash fiction thing, I don't get it, but it's a thing apparently. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. When you have a property as popular as Star Trek, you're going to get slash fiction. This is just it's just kind of inevitable. But I
Run from it, hide from it, still always be coming.
But I'm pretty sure it's like the first franchise to actually make the slash fiction fan fiction people canon. So it has the same feel ultimately then as Disney Star Wars. It feels like more like fan fiction than actual canonical works.
I understand Ruby kind of did that too. Not that I think Ruby is any kind of art, but like the characters Yang and Blake, they made them girlfriends despite them like never talking to each other.
Despite the fact that they were for Blake, they were building up her relationship with Sun for like 5 seasons.
I genuinely don't know. I just know that like Ruby is trash.
I stopped after season 4, and I was like, no, I'm not watching this shit. I think I jokingly watched it like season 5 after it came out with my then girlfriend, so we could just both have a laugh at it. But yeah, it was terrible, and I was like, no, I'm not watching this shit again, even ironically. But then they destroyed Sun with the power of gay, so I've heard.
Didn't they do something like with Legend of Korra, where Korra was depicted as straight, and she was in love with Bolin or his brother, or one of those two guys.
Yeah. At the very last second, they're like, "Oh, by the way, Korra and Asami are bi, and they're a couple bi." As they were walking out the door, the two were holding hands in the sunset. It's like, this is dumb. Like, this is really dumb.
It's like a switch was flipped in their brains or something.
The joke was like Mako was they both dated Mako, and the joke was Mako was such a horrible boyfriend he made them both gay.
That would work actually.
Like if they focused,
that'd be hilarious.
What was it? A firebender with so little fire he froze both of his ex's wombs permanently.
Well, like Korra's production was such a hot mess. Like it's a wonder like any of it was even decent. like there were some good moments, but like they only expected one season, and that season was serviceable. And then they're like, oh no, here's a bunch more money. And then by the time like season 2 came out,
before the 4th season, they'd already before the first season even aired, they were already bought for 4 seasons.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were just incompetent at that point. I always was under the understanding that like they only got one season because Nickelodeon was worried about a female lead.
No,
so
they bought all 4 seasons before the first season even aired.
I did not know that. Like, well, that's why that the eye and the avatar, you got to deal with it thing. From my I was always told that was a nod, like that was a middle finger to the executives, not necessarily the audience.
I think
because
one of the biggest problems with Korra is that she, like, by the age of 5, I don't know, had managed to master 3 elements, and then for the rest of her life, she just can't master air.
Yeah. Well, like the problem with the Korra writers is they had no faith in their audience either. They thought, oh, we don't want to see another Avatar learn the elements again, so we're going to skip that part and give you human drama. But for whatever reason, they forgot how to write human drama.
You can do that. You can have an Avatar who's already learned all the elements. But the problem is now you have to add some other kind of progression. You have some other character building. And drama can work, but the problem is the drama was absolutely so terrible and on the nose. Like the fucking terrible, awkward 4-way. It was like love triangle between 4 people. It was a love square. Because you had Bolin, you had Mako, you had the girl, and you had Korra.
Yeah, it just wasn't handled well, and like it all came up at the worst opportune moments. Like Mako's all, we need to save Korra, and Asami gets jealous because Korra gets captured by the guy who was literally wanting to like take her bending away and kill her. So the girl, what's her name? Asami's like, oh, why are you being so upset about it? It's just like, she's the fucking Avatar, dude. That's a good reason to be upset. Like.
Yes, the bridge between the spirit world and the human world, the master of all four elements that's supposed to keep peace between the four kingdoms and the rest of humanity, the kind of chosen one who's supposed to keep balance. Yeah, that's fine if they just lose their bending and they die.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter, right?
It's just literally the most important person on the planet. Yeah, we don't need to be urgent. It's fine. Let's get a coffee.
And see, Alex Halo, Mission 2, appreciate that. Only the Japan essay Fujoshi give money. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good to keep in mind. Thank you for that, Alex Halo.
I go to conventions all the time. I assure you, horny yaoi girls, like American horny yaoi girls, give you lots of money too. Like it's not just the Japanese Fujoshi,
especially the American ones. I would assume, especially the American ones. Sketch Therapy, welcome to Sketch Therapy. Thank you for the super sticker. Very nice, crappy super sticker. Thank you very much, Sketch Therapy. The super poop. I call it super poop. Let's see, Alex Halo. I can't put Japanese in the super chat. Huh? Does it not let you? That's strange. Is YouTube just blocking out Japanese letters?
I think it has to do. I think it has to do with a format or a font thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I heard about that. I just heard about. I think something they made. They just switched Korra to bi or gay, something like that, because of convenience. Even though, because I watched season 1 of Korra, and she was distinctly straight. She was going out with what's his name, one of those
Mako.
guys.
She went out. She had a thing for Mako, and she also went out with Bolin on a date.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. It wasn't that great. It didn't wow me or anything. It was just okay. It exists.
It was serviceable. It was just okay. Like the ending was.
Well, no, I say that because Korra is like it sets up like she's supposed to be some kind of annoying bitch, and like she's so headstrong and annoying that like you'd expect her to like learn from these mistakes, learn from her being brash and all that shit, but she doesn't, and the story even rewards her for being brash and inconsiderate and like not wanting to be spiritual to try and learn airbending. Instead, her master, who's much older than her, much more experienced, was wrong this entire time, and he's just an old fuddy-duddy.
Wow, it's that I can't remember the season I saw. I just remember a few things, like she loses her bending, and Stephen Blum was in there. He's a masked guy named something, and
I'm on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, it's just like such a little fucking shit because like he has interesting characters. Like, oh, he had a story about how his firebenders scarred him. Oh, he's the underdog as he's someone who's like he doesn't have bending, but yet he can take on benders. That's pretty fucking badass. But no, he's just a bloodbender, and it's like, what do you mean he's a bloodbender? There's no full moon. How can he bloodbend?
He just can. And the answer was he just can. He just can. When it's a villain, I don't necessarily mind when they have like a weird, quirky power. It's
more just the fact that they had this really interesting villain who's the underdog that could have been absolutely fantastic, and then it kind of just ruins it all, and it's like, oh well, he's just a bloodbender, and you're going to explain this in like one of the last episodes. Really,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said really. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I remember seeing a fan-made comic that came out just before season 2 because it was leaked that it was called Spirits, and in the comic, it was a discussion between Ko, the face stealer, and the owl librarian, and they are watching the events of the first season, and they realize that the Avatar has been a failure to the spirits, because the Avatar is supposed to, bridge between human and spirits, and they were like, their pitch for season 2 was that Ko the Face Stealer takes on the role of Amon and now starts to equalize. And I was like, that's a badass premise if they would have went to that. But
yeah, it's also a thing that's kind of peculiar is that it's all based on oppression. The big powerful guys, whereas the weak little guys that can't bend.
I've said this before, but like
I've seen that before.
The potential for like parodying social justice in that was like so ripe, because the equalists, they're called the fucking equalists.
Oh, it's very in your face with it.
And they're like, see, I bet you want to come up here and knock me off here with your firebending. And it's like, yeah, I would. See, she's trying to oppress me. It's like, I'm not oppressing you. You're oppressing yourselves. Like that would be so perfect, but it just doesn't have like any kind of self-awareness, unfortunately.
She's oppressing me. She's oppressing me. Come look at the oppression inherited the system. You're the king.
Help! I'm being oppressed.
Being oppressed.
See, she's trying to oppress me.
You're the king. Well, I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for kings. How'd you become king then?
Watery tarts distributing swords is no way to base a government.
They lobbed a scimitar at me. They called me crazy. Call me emperor of the world because they lobbed a scimitar at me. They locked me up. I mean, that was fantastic. I have a video here that I think was given to me by Dr. Crow, called "We Need a Superman Movie" by Weaponized Nerd Rage. Be interesting. I haven't seen it yet, but it has an interesting premise. I see why exactly we need a Superman movie. I think we watched this. Oh, Dating Picard. Why is it taking Dating Picard? I think double click somewhere. There you go. I think we'll watch this and then we'll go ahead and call it a day.
So pardon me if this one's a little rustier than usual. I've got a lot of cobwebs to shake off. So this is just going to be a good old-fashioned rant, because I've been seeing this story floating around over the last...
That's a lot.
It's a lot of dialogue. It's like when an SJW or an NPC tries to make a meme. That's what it looks like. Just all dialogue. Double clicking mouse. Okay, come on.
Couple of days, and it really kind of struck a nerve, and I have no idea what is going on in the minds of the people over at Warner Brothers, because they somehow think that now isn't the time for a Superman movie, that they need to build up more momentum behind the most well-known character in entertainment today. What character is more easily recognizable?
Have you ever heard Doomcock without his voice changer?
No.
Like, he has his actual voice on streams. He does streams. I've heard it. The Weaponized Nerd Rage sounds exactly like Doomcock without his voice changer. It's making me ask questions.
Have we ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
Has Doomcock and Weaponized Nerd Rage ever been in the same stream at the same time? I'm asking that question now because he sounds exactly like.
I can imagine him like not jumping between like two accounts, just jumping between one and the other.
Like here's the account with my normal voice. And here's the account with my Doomcock voice. I think that'd be because he sounds just like him, almost as like him. Is it the ones over Tanya? Is that a leftist meme? Oh, beat me to it. Yeah, I did. I beat you to it. That's what leftist memes, like NBC, HW people. That's how they make memes. It's just a wall of text.
in Superman. Almost everyone on this planet knows who Superman is. There is no momentum that needs to be built. He is an eternally relevant character, and in this day and age, he is exactly what we need. There is no story that needs to be told more than the story of Superman, in my mind. Now, before we go ahead and delve into why I think Superman is a very important character for this day and age, please remember to go ahead and like and share and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, because now that I'm back at it, I'm going to be struggling to fight the YouTube algorithm, especially with all of the problems that I've been having with demonetization, channel suppression, and the copyright strikes and all the things. I am fighting an uphill battle with YouTube right now. But either way, on to Superman. So why is Superman a character that I think really, really needs a movie right now, and why Warner Brothers is completely out of their mind? And the world right now is a pretty bleak place. It's a pretty dark place. People are not happy for the most part. People are pretty pissed off. Like, you've got all of this political tension that's going on right now, especially in America with the upcoming election and everything. You've got the protests, you've got the riots, you've got the fear of the coronavirus, the fear of war, and all of these negative things that are going on in the world right now. And there's so many people out there who are trying to fearmonger, who are trying to make sure that you are afraid, who are trying to sell you a product through controversy and things like that. And what we need right now more than ever isn't a story that's trying to push an agenda or a political idea. We don't need dark and gloomy and depressing storytelling. Right now, in these times, we need something that is lighthearted. We need something that isn't obsessed with moral ambiguity. We need a simple tale of good versus evil and a return to basics. And who better to do that with than...
It'd be really refreshing. No more Ryan Johnson, the Jedi must die, and all that stuff. It's we get to clear good guys and bad guys. That's when they say that Star Wars is always political. What actually Star Wars always was clear good guys and bad guys. No gray morality of the Jedi must die because they weren't actually the good guys. It was usually a clear good side and bad side from the original trilogy, anyway. Clone Wars kind of muddied the waters a little bit, but we still had Republic pretty much the good guys, Separatists pretty much the bad guys. That's what we needed. That's what we need. And it's not always been political. What it always has been was clear black and white, more or less. Dark side of the Force, light side of the Force. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there on the title. It's right there in the giant mechanisms of Star Wars. But yeah, I think we still need these stories, the simplified stories of good morality, like black and white morality, the clear good guys versus clear bad guys. I think there's a place for moral ambiguity, morally ambiguous heroes, but these heroes like Superman, they never get old. They never stop being relevant. I think that's the whole thing about Superman is that he represents this simple good guy versus bad guy. He's there to save the day. He's there to solve the problem. I think we have too many of these creators out there thinking they're the next genius, the next Alan Moore, and going to town on we have more cynical heroes. We need more cynical. We need more cynicism. We need more nihilism. And it's time for the Jedi to die. Kill the past if you have to. That sort of thing. Let's see here. As from a photo, think we should have $1.99. The female Luke Skywalker picture, though. I think someone, did you ever see that one where they made, they put Mark Hamill do that gender changer thing, and they made Luke Skywalker a woman. Because of they made Mark Hamill, they put him to that gender changer app or whatever it is. As for a phone, for $1.99, give me a funny, corny movie. Yeah, just every once in a while. We could use them every once in a while. It's let your foot off the gas of nihilism and cynicism for this little bit. Give us back the real Superman.
Superman. There's a lot of characters out there that, give people hope, that inspire people. But what the best of them, in my mind, is Superman. Now, I used to really not be that much of a Superman fan. I was always more of a Marvel and an Indies guy when I was growing up. And it wasn't even until, fairly recently where I actually became a fan of Superman and started reading Superman comics. And the person who did it, who finally opened my eyes to what Superman is, because up until until this point in time, my only exposure to Superman was a couple of comics here and there, and usually Superman was a supporting character. Things like The Dark Knight Returns, and cartoons like the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. But the person who really opened my eyes to the importance of Superman was Grant Morrison. I'm going to be referring back to him a lot throughout this rant here. I mean, Grant Morrison grew up in fear of war and fear of the bomb and everything. And one of the things that really gave him hope was comic books, specifically Superman. And Grant Morrison said that the thing that makes Superman so relevant, so eternally relevant for that matter, that makes him so inspiring is that he is like every one of us. And that was something that I always liked about Marvel characters. They were more like real people than a lot of the characters over at DC. They had daily lives. They had, everyday problems, which made them something that you could relate to regardless of, whether or not you look like the character, because that's something that is a really important thing to some people nowadays. But either way, I mean, Superman...
Did you hear about that one? I think I said this before, but did you hear about that one where they actually hired someone based on how the fact that they looked like the character?
Seriously?
Yeah, it was with Riri Williams. That character, Riri Williams, the character that replaced Iron Man in the actual Iron Man comic book. So you picked up Iron Man, you would get Riri Williams, a 15-year-old black girl, instead of Tony Stark. And they actually hired, I think her name was Earwing or something like that, and she was like a poet on Tumblr or something, and they hired her because she had the same haircut as Riri Williams. The long hair and the shaved side of the head. She was black like Riri Williams, and she had the same exact haircut. And based on those two factors,
hiring someone based on acting ability. Why did anyone do that?
Why would anyone do that?
The obvious question is, why would we hire someone based on acting ability?
But instead of doing that, instead of hiring her based on writing ability, they hired her based on how she looked like the person they wanted to write about. So,
not even acting, just writing.
No, writing. Yeah, the writing. So they wanted her to write Riri Williams because she had the same haircut. They started a petition and everything.
I thought that you were you're talking about wasn't there a Disney Plus or Disney XD show which was being planned or something?
Yeah, something like that. I think they are making like a Miss Marvel Riri Williams thing.
Yeah.
No, this was just a write for the comic book of Riri Williams.
God,
they said, "Oh, look, this poet looks like Riri Williams. She's the same race. She has the same exact haircut." They started a petition to get her to write the character, and they did. And the saddest thing of all was she was actually pretty good. She was better than all the actual Marvel writers at writing Riri Williams. Like she was, relatively speaking, she was better than the rest of them.
Oof. That's fucked a little bit.
Some random person.
Well, wasn't Riri made by some white guy?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play that card, but that doesn't necessarily not make sense, I
think it was Bendis, and you know what?
He had a daughter or something, and was that Miss Marvel?
I think you're correct.
He had an adopted, or someone had an adopted daughter, and they wanted them to see a hero which they could relate with or something.
Let's see. Also, I think it was Bendis. I think it was Brian Michael Bendis. I think created Riri Williams. And do you happen to be a DC fan? Either one of you?
Yeah, I'm a DC fan.
He did it again. He went to DC. He went from Marvel to DC. I think it was Bendis. But he did it again. But this time he made Riri Williams again at DC. But he made her a Green Lantern this time. It wasn't Riri Williams again. It was another 15-year-old black girl genius. That was she became a Green Lantern, not because she was brave.
Because she hacked the Green Lantern Corps.
Because she hacked the Green Lantern Corps. She hacked herself a ring.
Of course, the Green Lanterns use binary.
Of course, the center of the universe uses binary language. Okay, they're not woke enough to use non-binary language. So yeah, she hacks Oa, gets herself a ring, becomes a Green Lantern. So he did this twice. See, ask him a phone thing, which was $1.99. Help me, Bill and Ted. You're my only hope. Get in there, Bill and Ted. Start saving people.
Was the first to really do that all the way back in 1938. He was the character, I think that was the year he was created, 1938. But either way, he was the character who came in and he had his 9-to-5 job as Clark Kent.
Funny enough, Superman actually originated as a villain. He was like a Lex Luthor type of guy. I think that's where Lex Luthor came from, was the original concept of Superman. He was like this psychic, bald, super genius kind of guy, and he was coming out in a story called The Reign of the Superman. And then he changed to the Superman that we know from Action Comics #1. But I forgot which one it was. I think that's what he was talking about in 1938. Maybe it was before that. I forgot the specific dates at the moment. But that was interesting. And Superman actually began his life as a villain, conceptually, and then became this icon of hope, like the good guy of all good guys.
He had to worry about upsetting his boss and, going to out on dates with Lois Lane and getting married and having a dog and all that stuff. And, trying to fit in Superman alongside all of this stuff. And, it kind of evolved later on to where Superman's biggest problem wasn't the fact that he had all these supervillains and everything. It was the fact that he couldn't save everyone. It was the fact that he couldn't, solve every problem. And how many times have you been sitting there and thinking, God, I wish I could solve all of my friends' problems, but unfortunately I can't. And that's one of the things, that me personally, I struggle with a lot. I want to be able to fix all of my friends' problems. I want to be able to make everyone happy, but even Superman can't do it. And it's okay if you can't. Sometimes you just have to accept that fact, but you still have to try to do as much good as you can. And that is one of the things that Superman really embodies better than any other character, in my opinion. And more than even that, Superman is the idea that we can, as a species, be better, that people are inherently good. And the thing that will inevitably save this species is the good in people, is us rallying together. And what message needs to be stated more than that nowadays? People need to come together. People need to set aside their differences. We need unity in this day and age more than ever, in my opinion. We need to calm down and set aside our differences. And that's what Superman shows us. That's what Superman is trying to teach us. There's not a lot of times where you get into, the gray matter of morality with Superman. He's just a guy trying to do good, and a lot of times his villains are just the type of, I'm gonna blow up the planet type of character, or I'm gonna try to enslave everyone, and Superman's like, no, that's not happening, and he just goes out and stops it. Like, that's what we need. We don't need a story about trying to deconstruct Superman, trying to make Superman into a dark and gritty character, trying to make Superman into a killer. He's not supposed to kill, in my opinion. Superman should not kill. It's just how the character is. But there's this other part of Superman about where his true power doesn't come from his strength. It doesn't come from the fact that he can, melt steel with his eyes or see through everything or freeze something with his breath. Superman's real power is that he can inspire people. He can rally people together. And that only happens because of the ideals that he holds, because of the fact that he is, pure of heart, because of the fact that he does just try to help everyone with whatever kindness that he can give. And sometimes it's not even saving somebody from a burning building. Sometimes it's not, stopping a train to save someone. Sometimes it's not stopping Doomsday or Lex Luthor. Sometimes all Superman has to do is just give someone a kind word. And sometimes those little acts of kindness that, characters like Superman can give just show us that it's those small little acts of good that can ultimately change somebody's life and change the world by extension. But, from the whole business standpoint and everything with Superman, I mean, as far as Warner Brothers is concerned,
There's one Superman story where he's like he comes back from space or something, and he's immediately confronted by a woman who says that it's all your fault that my husband died, because he had this tumor that no one could get to, but Superman's laser vision could get to it. And if had he been here, he could have helped save her husband. Now, obviously, it wasn't his fault. I mean, he was out doing some huge things. But that got Superman thinking that he should. He's been concentrating so much on the big things in life that he didn't really so much remember the small things in life. So he started walking across America, just walking down the street and helping people that he saw along the way. It was pretty interesting. I really like the concept where Superman helped people from, I think, fighting gangsters to cleaning up someone's back room. That's I guess that's Superman. It was pretty good. It's pretty good because that was an instance of Superman going from fighting galactic level battles to just helping out everyday people. And that's Superman. That's what he does. He goes out. He does the right thing. He helps out people who are in need. I think we need more of that, actually.
But they don't want to rush into it. They want to build more momentum with the character and make him, cameos in this movie and that movie. Warner Brothers has never had a problem rushing into anything before with all of this stuff. And sometimes it's gotten them quite a bit of money. Like, look at Aquaman, for example. There was no momentum behind that character whatsoever. They rushed into that movie and it got them $1 billion box office. So Wonder Woman had just as much less build-up, significantly less build-up than Superman has had. He had Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Justice League and everything. He's definitely ready for another solo film. Wonder Woman had Batman v Superman and Justice League, and then they went straight into giving her own movie, and they're working on the sequel right now. And then look at Joker, a character that's instantly as recognizable as Superman. That as many people who know about Superman, they know about Batman and the Joker. They had no problem going straight into a Joker movie with no kind of momentum buildup or anything. They just went right into it, and it wasn't even your typical Joker story. There were a lot of liberties taken with it. I mean, it wasn't even a Joker movie at the start. It was originally a movie called My Name is Carnival, and it was adapted into being a Joker movie. They have no problem rushing into another Batman movie, even though this new Batman movie doesn't take place in the same continuity, and it's a year one story with a younger Batman and everything. They have no problem with that. They have no problem rushing into a Suicide Squad, reboot already with James Gunn. They have no problem rushing into a Justice League Dark over with J.J. Abrams. So I'm sorry, I do not buy it. And the other thing is that Warner Brothers went ahead and decided to go, release the Snyder Cut. Okay, and that's enough, motivation. It's enough voices to be heard to release the Snyder Cut, which is still going to have a pretty hefty investment to put the thing out. And because it's coming out on a streaming service, it's not going to have the revenue of, a theatrical release. But a lot of the people who are saying, we want the Snyder Cut, give us the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut, are the same people saying we want Man of Steel too. So why is that number of people enough to go ahead and bring us the Snyder Cut, but it's not enough to bring us another Superman movie? Like, the logic doesn't even make sense to me. I mean, maybe there's some element I'm not seeing. Maybe there isn't. But here's the easy way to do it, okay? If you just make an honest Superman story, the only thing it tries to do is give people hope. If it's written by somebody who understands the character, like, get Grant Morrison to write the script. Get Peter Tomasi to write the script.
Grant Morrison is very good. For example, Grant Morrison wrote All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is a very good comic book, a very good story for the ending of Superman, one of his endings, where he's actually dying because he got overexposed to the sun, that sort of thing. So it was written by Grant Morrison. Very good, very, very good insight into the character of Superman. So yeah, if anyone should be able to write a good Superman story, it should be Grant Morrison.
Get Bruce Timm to write the script. You can probably even get Bruce Timm to direct the damn thing. Get somebody who knows this character, who knows what makes this character appealing. And get a director who isn't going to muddle with the script. Get a director who is just going to focus entirely on making the script, the script work, visually and everything. Get somebody who understands the character. Maybe somebody who's worked on Superman before. Get somebody who's worked on the cartoons, who also dabbles in live action stuff a little bit. Get somebody who's not going to try and put their own spin on Superman or anything like that. Just get a company man. Okay, get a safe bet type of director. Don't get somebody like, J.J. Abrams to do Superman, And then the important thing, keep the budget in check. It doesn't need to be a $400 million, $300 million budget Superman movie. You can easily make a Superman movie with $150 million and keep your, manage your risks. Okay, you don't have to have this giant Man of Steel size spectacle with Superman. You can have a small, down to earth story about Clark Kent and Lex Luthor and Superman and Lois Lane and all of that. You don't have to have it being some giant battles. I mean, I would watch the hell out of a movie about Superman just flying around helping people. I would. That would be fine for me. Something like those old Christopher Reeve Superman movies. That there's still a lot of love for those movies. It doesn't have to be an action, type story. So just get creative with it. Get creative with the budget. Don't rely on CGI for everything. Don't make it a giant CGI fest. You can tell a Superman story with just practical effects at the end of the day. So, and that'll be cheaper than, getting a whole CGI, a whole studio for CGI and all that stuff. Just keep your budget in check, Warner Brothers, and you'll have no problem whatsoever. And Henry Cavill is a great Superman.
What do you say?
Practical effects can often be more expensive these days.
Oh yeah, probably. But I think
the visual effects industry has kind of crushed the practical effects industry. So practical effects are now much more expensive to do because the practical effects isn't getting as much money as it used to. So they have to charge more per commission.
Freaking what was it, Netflix, when they made the Dark Crystal or whatever, it was like the most expensive show it was like the most expensive show they ever made because everything is practical.
Was it even that good?
I don't like it.
Yeah, I started I watched the first movie. I mean, the first episode. I started to watch it. Didn't capture my interest. The movie was good.
Like I appreciate the attempt and the heart behind it, but it's like, yeah, this ain't landed for me.
Okay, yeah, but this is a good point. I really think we need a movie like this, like an action movie, like not Man of Steel where everything's dark and brooding, but I mean an actual uplifting movie about Superman or another character like him that inspires hope and happiness and joy. I think that's something you might need right now these days. But all these writers in Hollywood, they have to be all brooding and nihilistic and cynical. It's the only thing that sells, in their opinion, I guess.
Yeah, Zack Snyder especially thinks that a film needs to be extremely dark and brooding for it to be good.
Because the world is dark, that's why. Eskimo Phono, thanks for 499.
If Batman, shoots a missile and it explodes and kills someone, he thinks that, it doesn't count as him killing someone. If he happens to shoot something which explodes.
About breaking people's necks and shooting them with guns. Does that count?
If Robin steps on his neck and says, "Fuck Batman."
Ooh, yeah.
That's a no-no word.
This is not your daddy's Teen Titans. Eskimo Phono, thanks for 499. Hard for them to make a hero when they want to spread hate and divisiveness, along with nihilism. Yeah, you can't really make a hopeful hero like Superman if you're not willing to put forth the message of hope. Because hope is unification. All they know how to do is divide, it seems. Now, Sketch Therapy, make a Superman animated movie out of a Grant Morrison All-Star. That would be interesting, like a live-action version. That'd be interesting, I think. I know they made like an animated version of All-Star Superman, but I think a live-action version would be really, really interesting. As long as they don't do make it something else. Okay, we're going to make All-Star Superman. We're going to make it something totally different. We're just going to slap some other title on it, like they did with Dark Knight Returns. They just turned that into Batman vs Superman. Very lazy stuff. Anyway, I think we got the gist of this video. I got most of it down. Fantastic stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream here. So thank you, everyone in chat, for joining me. Thank you, Loading Crew. Thank you, Shiny. Appreciate it. Hope you had at least an adequate time.
That was fair enough.
And let's see. Eskimo Phono, thanks for the 99 at the very end of the stream. Appreciate that. I want more Batman warehouse scenes. We definitely need more Batman warehouse scenes. There's not enough of those. We need a whole movie where Batman is just going through his warehouse from start to finish. Look at that warehouse.
Why did Batman even have a warehouse in fucking Justice League? Why not do the Batcave?
Because warehouse, I guess, is more realistic or something. Batcave is too cool. He needs to be more realistic shiny. He can't have a Batcave. He needs to have a warehouse. But thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you, Loading Crew, again. Thank you, Shiny, for joining me. Glad you hopped on. And let's see here. Oh, and,
Shiny, I'm having a hard time finding your channel, man. Which one are you?
I know there's multiple shinies for some reason. Make sure it's spelled with an E.
Oh, okay.
So it's SHINEYFX.
Letters FX.
There we are.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. And I will see you all next time.